Greetings and salutations, fans of Dota 2. It is I, Badger, once again back to bring you some Season 6 League of Lads action. And I am joined, as per normally, by the one and only Artorius. How are you tonight?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm excited. I'm becoming hyped for this series, because this is a high-stakes series. For 5 Dudes, it is a must-win situation. For them, they must win this series. If they do not win this best of 3, their season is over. For Marty, Chang, still a high-stakes series. They can win it, or they can lose it. If they win, they are in playoffs. And if they lose, the road becomes a lot harder, but it is still possible because they have to beat the funny zone then, so... Either way, it is a high-stakes series for both teams. So I'm very excited. Are you excited?
Kind of.
Very cool. So we have a Tusk and a Spirit Breaker, just normal Dota 2 heroes here, or anything particular that you want to comment on so far, these strength-based heroes being picked?
I think both are pretty decent. I think the Tusk was a little bit of a deny pick. I know Jinx likes to play a lot of these melee pause fours like Spirit Breaker and Tusk.
Luckily for Jinx, there is another melee strength pause 4 ready to be picked. One that might even be better in this current meta than Tusk.
Yeah, Spirit Breaker feels really good right now with his Shard and his Ags both being very good.
That's an early Jug pick there. I mean, I obviously want to pull better heroes, but is it a premature Jug pick given there's already a Tusk on the board who has a BKB piercing stun, and 5 Dudes still have 3 picks to counter the Jug?
I think it was in response to the Sand King. Sand King has a rough lane versus a Juggernaut. They already showed their off lane, but on the other hand, they could have just as easily picked pause 5 to lane into a Sand King in the Tusk.
I mean, this is I'm actually curious to see what's going to end up happening with this mid pick for 5 Dudes. I think that's going to be one of the big make or break picks this night, is what do they pick middle? Because Marty Chang Slayers are in the position in the draft at this point where they have the counter pick just for the mid pick, but they don't have this phase here. So right now, if you were them, say if you're Marty Chang Slayers, you're probably picking a 5 and a 3 here, right?
More than likely, unless they pick up their mid and it's obviously not a flex or anything. Then you could probably counter it if they do pick it up at 16.
I'm actually really interested to see if 5 Dudes consider picking their or not 5 Dudes. Yeah, 5 Dudes consider even picking their carry relatively early. But it probably works to make more sense to delay it, right? Just let them show both the 5 and the 3, right?
More than likely, yeah. They're probably going to pick their 5 here, so they'll...
I overthought it. I was like, wait a minute. They'll see the offlaner, all will be good. I was like, wait a minute. They're not picking the offlaner until this second pick of the second phase. I did things in the wrong order. Either way, though, I mean, Marty Chancellor is banning out a lot of carries. Though some of the meta carries are still available. Obviously, Wraith King's still in the pool. And there are some heroes that have been picked less as of recently that are still available. Obviously, Ricky is in the pool, though we have been seeing a lot less Ricky in recent weeks as we did in the months previous to that, so... We'll see a Witch Doctor for now. So a nice little stable 5 hero. One who should be able to pair fairly well with the Jug. They had a couple options. Could have went for like a Lich type hero, could have went for like an Oracle type hero perhaps. Yeah, for the Witch Doctor instead. Hero I'm surprised has not been picked yet or at all, picked or banned as Shaman. Why has Shaman been untouched so far?
I think it was a really good pick, but then people started picking these 4 heroes that kind of just like run them down. Like a Tusk and Spirit Breaker can just get on top of them in these fights and beat them up pretty badly. He obviously is a pretty slow hero with not a lot of escape, so he doesn't really want to be playing into these heroes as much.
Dota just like changes so fast nowadays. I remember back in my day, patches in the meta really wouldn't shift for like months on end, and now it's like, oh yeah, Shaman's good. Oh wait, no, Shaman's countered. It's been 2 days. Oh great, fantastic. This moves so fast. Either way, though, this is probably the 5 Dudes 5 pick here, and they will opt for an Ancient Apparition, so certainly a means of dealing with multiple healing methods for Marty Chang Slayers via that Ice Blast. But my concern is, how does the AA match up into Spiritbreaker in lane? Obviously, he's got a long-range attack with Chilling Touch, but does he do enough damage to really contest the Spiritbreaker in lane?
I don't think he really does anything to Spiritbreaker in lane, but on the other hand, Spiritbreaker doesn't really do anything in lane. I believe this AA pick is probably setting up for an Alchemist.
Ew. I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, Alchemist has been one of the standout heroes of the patch. You could play it carry, you could play it mid, you could play it offlane, you could play it 4. It's just, in this case, it'll probably end up being the carry hero. It's just very, very versatile hero. You just buy items, and you just hit this timing window. It's very fun. And by fun, I mean no fun at all, but still. We're all Dota players. We all have a warped sense of fun. Either way, though, we'll see a Marty Chang Slayer's Bat Rider. This is inherently a flex pick between a mid bat and an off bat, right? Or are you committing to, like, say, an off lane and bat right now?
I do not know what these players play. They're mid and they're off laner. I don't know if either one of them are specifically bat players or not. So
it's Bat Rider. I'm sure you just press your buttons. I can play Bat Rider. If I can play Bat Rider, I'm sure both Jorvik and Clueless, who are both better at Dota than me, can play Bat Rider. Either way, though, 5 dudes will pick that Wraith King for PMA. Obviously, a lot of PMA heroes are not available this game. Obviously, I mean, look at like PL, Slark, Troll, Jug. All some of PMA's more favorite heroes, and well, for one reason or another, all are not available, so we will see a King of Wraiths and King of Skeletons instead. The holder of 2 titles, so should be a... how is a... so say they were running Bat Rider as a 3. How is the Spiritbreaker plus Bat Rider lane into a Wraith King AA?
I think the Bat Rider needs to be very careful. Wraith Fire Blast plus Cold Feet can get you killed. I think normally a Bat Rider should be able to kill a Wraith King, just because Wraith King doesn't really have an escape mechanism versus the Bat Rider. However, I think the Wraith King in AA should be a little bit more aggressive, and with the higher attack damage coming out from AA's Chilling Touch and Wraith King's crit, they should be able to win these trades versus Spiritbreaker and Bat Rider. They don't really have anything to harass. They kind of have to 100 to 0 this Wraith King or AA in order to bring them down at all.
It's certainly doable, but it's one of those things where 5 dudes are going to know when it's coming as well, because if you want 100 to 0, you're going to need, at least 3 or so sticky napalm stacks. So they'll say, hey, they're putting stacks on us. They're going to try to kill us sometime. We should be careful of that.
Yeah, but AA does have a lot of movement slow, so you should be able to make this Bat Rider back off. If there's only 3 sticky napalms, I think you'll have to get closer to 4 or 5 to really get this Wraith King, depending on what the level of sticky napalm is, because it did get nerfed a little bit with the turn speed slows.
So basically, this lane heavily relies on the positioning of Artorius on the Ancient Apparition to dissuade any aggression onto his own Wraith King, correct?
Yeah, but the positioning should be pretty easy. As long as he's not gone to go get a pull, he just needs to be in attack range of the Bat Rider.
That's a Bloodseeker middle, huh? Did not expect that.
For all you know, it might be Sand King middle, Bloodseeker offlane.
Okay, then they can double down on that point. It's a Sand King middle. I did not expect that one either. It's not what I expected. Either way, though, it's
Bloodseeker 5 AA mid. Bloodseeker just amps the Wraith King. He already has lifesteal.
Come on, brother. Come on. You've been hanging around Snow too much.
I don't know. This might be some new tech.
Heavy amount of pretending going on right now. Either way, from Marty Chang Slayers.
I don't think meta.
They now have a pretty relatively good idea of what the lanes are going to be. Unless 5 dudes are going for some real off-meta stuff, it's going to be a Bloodseeker middle and a Wraith King, a safe lane, Sand King, Tusk off lane. How would Bat Rider match up into Bloodseeker as a lane? That seems pretty good for Bat Rider, right?
I think Bat Rider would win the lane, but he would have trouble killing him.
Well, that's a different hero. A hero who traditionally does pretty well into Bloodseeker, so it's going to be a nice little Zeus for Jorvik. He'll have a lot of options there, as long as he just doesn't get jumped by a super farmed like BKB Wraith King, BKB Bloodseeker. He should have a fairly good game, assuming they can cancel the blink of Mr. Beast of US East. That's a question of the day, though, is can they keep Jorvik alive in these fights?
Or you might rush an Ags on the Sand King in order to get on top of people. Or you just get a blink on Tusk and blink Walrus Punch him. That Zeus is probably dead.
Alright, I've taken my sweatshirt off. I'm ready to go. I am ready to go, damn it. Now, these teams are ready to go as well, because this is going to be this is the make or break match really for both teams. For 5 dudes, as I mentioned earlier, this could not be more must-win. If they do not win this series, their run is over. Marty Chang Slayers make playoffs. Funny Zone make playoffs. If 5 dudes win, however, the Marty Chang Slayers have to play up against Funny Zone, and that's complicates things. Not sure exactly what will be the next set of tiebreakers after that, but either way.
Well, it also depends on games, right? If this isn't a 2-0 either way, and we're looking at a 2-1, then they would still have... If 5 average dudes 2-1, then Marty Chang would have to at least 2-1 Funny Zone. But no, they'd have to 2-0 because I believe then 5 average dudes would have the head-to-head win over Marty Chang.
Either way, we are in. It is the final showdown. In the Radiant corner, we've got 5 average dudes, and in the Dire corner, we have got the one and only Marty Chang Slayers. And I want to say thanks in the all chat, but I'm not allowed to all chat, am I?
I'm sure if you say thanks, no one will care.
I put 2 letters. I'm gonna have Guam in my Twitch chat in like 2 seconds, banning me from casting, giving away the grand finals cast to someone else now for rule breaking. I'm sure it's fine. Either way, though, we're seeing a smoke on 4 from the 5 average dudes. They have the Tusk leading for now, but with No Snowlossy having tag team level 1, they might have to be a little bit careful in how they position if they want to find somebody here. The smoke already did break on 2 heroes, and it's expiring anyways on the remaining ones soon. Looking at Radiant Vision, they have a ward right here, but it doesn't only see over to here, so it's not able to see Redondo or Polo, who are positioned by this tier 1 tower area. And meanwhile, bottom lane, they've seen nobody from the Radiant yet, and they have this ward here as well, spotting it out. So Marty Chang Slayers have to know something is up. There's literally nowhere else in that they can be, pretty much, so. Alright, so you know what, we'll just stay under this tower, not die, be nice and happy, take these 2 runes bottom, and then give the 2 runes up top. And that is how it's going to go. So it will be 2 runes apiece for both sides. And then I'm sure we're going to see, actually, for now, we still have Artorius in the top lane. He is not TP'd bottom lane yet. Asi has TP available. But with this ward here from Marty Chang Slayers, they might know something is up. Like, hey, we still have not spotted this Ancient Apparition hero. He literally has not shown anywhere, so perhaps they might go for a 3-man play top lane.
It's good for this AA to start in this top lane. Obviously, Sand King's a bit of a weak laner level 1. So you can do a little bit of damage, maybe get a bit more trade for them. While in the bottom lane, you have a Spearbreaker Bat Rider. You can't really pressure a Wraith King with that.
Sad tale. Yeah, PMA even denied the range creep. What a disaster. However, Redondo and Polo not taking too much damage. They seem to be mostly fine up here. In the mid lane, Bloodseeker Zeus should be a relatively interesting affair in terms of just trading a farm, but I don't expect either hero to really die. At least not that early in the game. I'll keep an eye on health bars just in case, but I don't expect any deaths in the lane early on. Yeah, look at Pia. He's already got 9 stick charges bottom lane on Wraith King. This man is full of stick charges. Hey, can I not ping out items anymore? He's got 10 napalm charges on him, too. Look at this man. He's got literally 10... It's hit these stack counts. He's just keeping stacks on him. Oh, it wore off. Okay, never mind. That's a rough time for Marty Chang Slayers. Either way, though, lanes are back to mostly just exchanging of a little bit of harass here and there, exchanging a farm. Pole camp creeps actually Polo did not get the last hit on the creep top lane, but other than that, just creeps being exchanged there. There's also a great game for magic sticks. Both teams very heavy on magic sticks. Bottom lane, actually arguing from Artorius. There are 4 stacks of napalm. They did use the flame break, but they have no firefly just yet. Clueless actually taking a good bit of damage. He is a stand-in, by the way, for Zombies Expert, if I am correct about that, if my sources are correct, so... There's actually a charge from Jinx bottom, but... yeah, there'll be no kill just yet. Jinx trying to walk away, will not get stunned by the cold feet, so... no kills there. Yeah, my source was you, so I'm hoping you're correct about that one.
Well, that's why I'm hoping it's correct.
I didn't want to implicate you, you know what I mean? Just in case you were wrong there. I didn't want to say, oh, Artorius told me this, and if Artorius is wrong, I'll be like, ah, that terrible, useless Artorius, fake 7K player, how dare he give me fake information, you know what I mean? It's not my style. We're seeing already stacking up the Ancient Camp, though, from Clueless. That's a single-stacked Ancients already, so there will be some more stacking going on in this dire tri-camp area, I'm sure. Overall, other than Batrider, all these cores are doing very well in the lane. Batrider, though, literally only 4-0 in terms of CS. Is Batrider supposed to be doing this badly in the lane, or is this just a rough time for this bat?
I think the AA just really gave him a bit of a rough time when he finally showed up. And the first couple levels, it's hard when you have 47 attack damage versus Wraith King 70. You're definitely not going to get any denies with the Quelling Blade, but on top of that, it's very difficult to even get one of the last hits.
They're going for Jinx bottom, but with the charge away, Jinx is absolutely fine. Everyone is okay, though Jinx will be down a bit of HP for now. Actually, Jinx has no regen, so this is another good situation for Radiant. They're going to know that, hey, Spiritbreaker has to back, so we can perhaps pass the Batrider. They did use the Flame Break with 7 stacks bottom, but they're turning with the Cold Feet. It's just enough to freeze. They have a stun in Wraith King in 12. They're not going to need it. The first blood will go to PMA, so fantastic time so far for the 5 dudes in the bottom lane. Their Wraith King farming well, their Ancient Apparition harassing well, and so far the Batrider having a very rough start to his game. Hence why the stacking is going on at this point, this early in the game.
Yeah, all these low heroes are giving a little bit of an advantage to this Bloodseeker mid lane, who is able to run at the Zeus a little bit.
Yeah, Jork's even TPing the Fountain. He's just playing very cautiously, saying, you know what? I don't want to die. I'm just going to TP away from the Bloodseeker. Not going to feed my life away just yet.
Remember, Beast of US East, he's sitting pretty at the top of the CS chart there. He's actually has boosted speeds and bracer, which is a little bit wonky considering typically Juggernauts do beat Sand Kings in lane, especially with such an aggressive support like Witch Doctor.
Obviously, he had the support help for a bit there, having both Notorious and CB in the lane for a bit of time, but I'm sure it wasn't enough to completely swing the lane around.
There isn't any. It's just there wasn't any sentries in lane, I think, so he's just able to freely farm in Sandstorm.
Yeah, Batrider's already up the camps, has 2 points in Napalm, 1 point in Flame Break, 1 point in Firefly, putting 7 stacks of Napalm on the Ancients, so that should help a little bit with Batrider's game. Good old acceleration of farm. We're seeing Dire supports our top lane. Jinx is killing a courier of CB, so... See, Notorious is harassing Batrider at the camp right now. This is a disaster for this Batrider. And a good play from Notorious. Jinx is charging over, but yeah, Notorious simply TPs the Fountain away from any Spiritbreaker charges, so this is a fantastic job in just ruining... I mean, Batrider didn't even kill the Ancient Camp. This is a very, very, very rough start for this Bats.
Yeah, slowing down this Batrider like this is huge. He's their tempo setter. Their Spiritbreaker is also their tempo setter, but he needs damage from somewhere, and both Wraith King and
going for a Redondo top lane, but they already use all their spells. They need one more hit, they will get it. So CB does have to kill, but in comes Jinx. Charge is there, and Beast of Zeus ulti is in, so it is 1 counter kill on the Sand King. Overall, good trade for Dire, right?
Yeah, that's huge. You need to slow down the Sand King. The only problem is you managed to take the whole large camp stack before they did finally kill him off.
Yep, that's just kind of how Dota 2 goes sometimes. I mean, they got their Zeus involved. Zeus obviously going to benefit a good bit from getting the extra kill there, so all is well. Actually, the ruptured middle lane, but Jork just going to TP away. Jinx even charging in for good measure. Actually, Jinx might pay for that. Cold Feet will trigger, but they simply lack the damage, actually. Spirit Breaker just a little bit too tanky, despite having, 2 branches for tankiness. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Wraith Fire Blast is there, harassing this Bat Rider, though PMA needs to be a little bit careful, actually. He has a skill point for Reincarnate if he wants to skill it. There's 4 Napalm stacks currently, now up to 5 stacks. Flame Break is there in 2 seconds, but it looks like Bat Rider not going to... Actually, might just still go for it. Has the 6 stacks. Might just pop the Reincarnate right here and there. Okay, never mind. It's only level 1 Flame Break. Still a lot of damage being done to this Wraith King, but I'm sure he'll simply regen it off with his lifesteal.
Yeah, it's the worst feeling when you're just sitting there harassing a Wraith King, and you just regens it all, or you finally kill him and it just pops Reincarnate. It's like, okay, well, now what? Because I don't have any spells up capable of killing him in the next 200 seconds, so he's just going to get it back up again.
PM is like, dang, I missed 1 whole lasted for that. What an entire shame. That's 41 whole gold. Either way, the Bat Rider is still farming neutrals.
Ooh. Charge was coming in top. Till Eruption.
That's just kind of how it goes. I mean, Bloodseeker so far has had a very, very great start to the game. And looks like Radiant are grouped bottom lane as 3. Might go for a tower push. They do have 8 skeleton charges.
Yeah, they can see the Bloodseeker.
No, top lane though, they actually use Omni Slash on Sand King. Sand King is back to bottom lane.
Yeah, because of the Bloodseeker, they can see that the Bat Rider is farming jungle, so they wouldn't have anyone to defend this tower.
Actually, Bloodseeker's just going top lane, going for Redondo, diving the Switch Doctor. Obviously no Omni Slash now, but now Peripheral Nephew is just like stuck under this tower. Might just die for this. He's taking a lot of damage to Maledict. He should be dead here to the last second Maledict, right? Well, never mind, he healed up. Never mind, it's a Zeus ulti. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they went on the Tri-Heroes of Radiance. Artorius is dead. They're going for CB. Zeus has the rotation. Triple kill for Jorik actually across the map, so... That's what you need if you're Marty Chang Slayer. That's a fantastic situation in the top lane. Fantastic situation in the bottom lane. Save your tower, you save your jug. That's good for them, right? Has to be.
Yeah, Pyro's dudes had a little bit of a gold advantage, but now it's back to just about even.
And they're even harassing PMA on that Wraith King now as well. I mean, Bat Rider just putting some good old napalm there. Where is Jinx going? This is not middle lane. Where is Jinx actually going?
Just charging Sand King.
We'll get there eventually. He'll actually probably cancel out. Never mind. Yeah, there we go. Just cancel at the secret shop area. Though he will be in a nice convenient spot to get the bounties. Meanwhile, middle lane Rupture is there on this Witch Doctor. Redondo, probably dead. Redondo, definitely dead. Kill will go to this Bloodseeker, to Peripheral. And I apologize in advance for calling him Peripheral and or Neff, because I will be alternating throughout the series, because that is how Dota 2 goes sometimes. Either way, looking at net worth, where's net worth? There we go. Zeus on top, so Jorik having a good game. PMA not too far behind. Polo relatively even with PMA, though. And then Bloodseeker is a bit behind the Zeus, but not by that much. But surprisingly, the Sand King is about, it's actually not that far ahead of the Bat Rider. Sand King only 3,900 versus Bat Rider's 3,200. Which, given the last hits chart, surprises me.
Lee was farming a lot of Ancients on the Bat Rider. And Sand King got ganked a few times.
I feel like it's all he's farmed those, the Ancients. Had very, very few lane creeps this game. Either way, though, Radiant, they are grouped as 4 top lane. Dire also will be as 4, though, so we'll see some kind of skirmish here. Omni Slash is up. I believe every ability of importance is up. So in comes Jinx looking for Sand King. Cask is there. Little bounce. In comes Omni Slash doing some, but not that much damage. CB had a snowball onto Jorik. They're spinning onto Artorius. Artorius will go down. Meanwhile, in another fight, they're diving this Rupture for Jorik. Jorik will use his ulti before going down. Will be a 1-for-1 so far. Meanwhile, PMA fighting Polo. CB went down to Redondo and Jorik. And it's chaotic. Burrow Strike is there on Polo. There's a charge as well from Jinx looking for Sand King. Healing Ward is now dead. Cask is there, so is Death Ward, and they will kill this Bloodseeker, so it's a 2-for-3 so far, I believe. Death Ward will pop... Okay, never mind, will not pop the Reincarnate. Redondo might look for more. Has Maledict. PMA, though, probably going to walk away. Charge is available, but... Actually, he's just dead, right?
Oh yeah, it's reincarnate.
That's still level 1 reincarnate though. That's going to be on cooldown for over 3 minutes. That's not the greatest cooldown to lose, especially if Marty Chang Slayers can group before it's up again, which is going to be a good bit of time. Wait, did they only kill Jork for that?
Yeah.
They only killed Jork, so 3 for 1 overall. I'd say, I mean, they got the Zeus, but that's a very costly trade there.
Yeah, they wanted to group up and take this tower because the Wraith King wants to start playing in the triangle in the top half of the map. But unfortunately, they just weren't able to actually take the tower.
Bottom lane CB appears to be caught out a little bit. We're trying to get some farm bottom lane. Bat Rider is here, Spirit Breaker is here, and Tusk. Despite, the shards are there. Shards, I guess, will keep him caught in the fire, but nothing would have saved him. Nothing would have saved that man. He was dead to rights at that point. Alright. This seems like it's been half this cast. It's like, alright, where is Jinx charging? It appears to be middle lane this time, but I'm sure it'll be cancelled once again. Unless... Never mind, he's just going. There's a Wraith Fire Blast as well. Jork is there. There's another strike. He has the Zeus ulti and he will get a kill. Capitalizing on that ulti being on cooldown. I'm going to go for Artorius as well. Cask is there. So is the spin from Jug. Down goes Artorius. So 2 kills across the map for Marty Chang Slayers. They find this PMA Wraith King middle. They find the Ancient Apparition top as well. So it's a fantastic job across the map. Meanwhile, middle lane, Rupture is there. And they will actually get the Spirit Breaker with the damage from the Blood Right. So it is a counter kill onto Spirit Breaker. But overall, good trade across the map for Marty Chang Slayers. Polo will spin top lane. Dust is there. Will miss, will not be needed overall. And Bloodseeker is on the rotation, actually. Snowball is there on Witch Doctor. He does have Death Warp, but with that Walrus Punch, he's simply just taking too much damage.
Oh god. He just melted.
It's a sad tale for our buddy Redondo and his 4 armor up against the the everything from Radiance. Simply too many heroes, too much burst damage. And Polo simply TPing way to the middle lane, saying, you know what? I don't want to be here. I'm gonna head to the Tri-Camp. I have a Maelstrom, I can start farming.
This is what the carries want, right? Like, each carry wants to be playing in their triangle and on the enemy jungle side of the map. But both tier 1 towers are still up, so it's kind of awkward, and finally Radiant make a play and it works. They're going to take this top tower, and now Wraith King's going to be happy. Jug is playing bottom now, so either Radiant are going to group up and take this mid tower, or they're just going to have someone defend it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Dire, they say, you know what, Radiant committed a lot top lane. We could probably mirror the movements, but Tusk actually is still here. So they have 3... Never mind, they're not going to kill anybody. Jinx is not the easiest kill in the world, even though they still have 3 heroes in the vicinity. Actually, they do have Rupture. If any ability is going to kill them, it will be Rupture.
Yeah, if they get Rupture, they do have stuns here now. They can kill him instead of him just TPing out.
Never mind, they're not even thinking about the dive. They're saying, you know what, we'll head middle lane. Maybe something be middle lane.
Yeah, it's Cart Wave. They probably want to push it in.
Yeah, that'd be a nice tier 1 tower to get. Jork is there, but Jork actually has no friends right now, so they might just be able to kill that man if they dive him under tower before Marty Chang Slayers can respond in terms of actually saving him.
On the contrary, though, his team is wrapped behind them, so they could make a play themselves.
Yeah, they see the Bloodseeker farming. This might be a good chance at that neutral camp, and Bloodseeker even knows. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he just wants to mid farm. Either way, he will not get caught out by the Witch Doctor and the Bat Rider just yet. Radiant actually did let their siege unit die, so this push will be a little bit slower. But they will still try regardless. They do have 4 heroes in the immediate area. Though Sand King is a bit isolated. He goes on Jork with the Burrow, but in comes Bat Rider. Tusk snowballs and looking for Jork. There comes Ice Blast. Will hit on 3. Omnislash is there doing a lot of damage. Down goes CB. It's a 2 for 2 so far. Death Ward going through, looking forward as Bloodseeker. And Bloodseeker will die there, so double kill for Redondo. Charge is there. They have an airstrike. We use on Artorius. Artorius is going to eventually go down here, so it will be a 4 for 2 in favor of Marty Chang Slayers. And that's been the story of this game so far, is you dive Jork and you kill Jork, but at what cost?
Yeah, it was looking good, but again, just the Dire were close by. They might even lose their tower for this now. It doesn't look like they're going to respawn in time.
And then their entire idea there was, alright, we're going to get the tier 1 tower middle, but instead they simply lose their own tier 1 tower middle. Sand King has a blink now, looked for the burrow, but missed the burrow, so the Beast of US East... That's his blink reveal right there, and it resulted in literally no kills. Literally no damage, even. Maybe like 50 damage from Sandstorm, but overall, very inconsequential blink reveal for him.
Yeah, and he shows under a ward going top here, so this Batrider knows he needs to get out. Although, on the other hand, Batrider himself has picked up a Blink Dagger.
We've seen a lot of Batriders opt for BKB as their second item after boss recently, but he says, you know what, knowing that that Dire really just don't have jump, other than, well, like a Spirit Breaker charge, which is, you know, very telegraphed, I'll buy this Blink Dagger. I will be the tempo setter, as you said earlier, so... Should be pretty good. CB is in the area. He has an idea of what's going on, but... a little bit too late to stop Batrider from farming. So they might just go on Jinx. Burrow is there. There will be a tag team plus a snowball plus a Walrus Punch. They will try for a bit of damage. They need a little bit more, and they will find it. Down goes Jinx. So it is just simply a pick-off. No counter kills, no counter initiations or anything. Though Dire will simply say, you know what? We'll go bottom lane. There's a tier 2 tower here. We've got 3 heroes. We got some range creeps. You're all top lane. We can go bottom, go for this tower here, or at least an attempt at the tower. Radiant, though, they're TPing into the tier 3, they're TPing into the Shrine as well, so perhaps it will be a counter engagements. Both PMA and Artorius are on the way. Sand King, he's very deep right now, looking for somebody. Batrider blinks away, Burrow is there on Redondo. They might just let Redondo die, though they also did find Jorik. Back to the Redondo kill. They will kill him, and Jorik, well, Jorik's simply going to walk away, of course. So it's a 1 for 0, obviously, with the Witch Doctor being a casualty. The PMA is very, very alone right now. His team will have to try to save him, and they will save him. Because he's a Wraith
The
King.
Skeletons might get the tower here, too.
Well, there we
It's
go.
actually huge for the Radiant.
It's a very, PMA used the chaos of the fight to grab that tier 1 tower. That's very huge for his team.
It was definitely a very chaotic fight.
Alright, they're looking for
People
Polo.
looking
Rupture
into
is
each
there.
other.
Silence will miss. Here comes Healing Word. Here comes a charge. They're looking for Sand King now. Jusalti is there. Here comes the Last Blast. Hits onto. There's the Omni Slash. Will kill the Reincarnate of PMA. Nair Strike is there. Finds onto this Bloodseeker, I believe. So far, it's a Jug 4-2 supports trade, though. Charge once again there on PMA. Now that has no Reincarnate. Lasso is there. Will be onto this Bloodseeker, but in comes the Epicenter, in comes the Burrow Strike. Will actually not hit anybody, and they will kill PMA on the other side of the fight as well. And back to the Sand King. He's fighting this Batrider still. Batrider right now is fighting this 1v2 fight and might just get both at the rate he's going. Never mind. He missed the flame break this time, but he has friends coming with the Sentry Ward. Alright, the Beast of US East will simply Burrow Strike away, but it's overall a disastrous fight there once again for the 5 dudes. They get, I believe, just Polo in exchange for literally everybody but their Sand Kings. That's not a very favorable trade at all.
Yeah, they went in pretty deep for the Juggernaut, and they almost had it, but unfortunately, fortunately for him, he did get the Omni Slash off, and it was enough for their whole team to just pin them in that close quarters area, and Zeus is doing a shitload of damage there.
At this point, for 5 dudes, how do they, like, change the course of this game? Because they keep forcing these fights, and they keep killing literally 1 hero and losing, like, 3 or 4 heroes. Like, what do they need to do to either win these fights or just avoid the fights altogether?
Well, the Wraith King has now picked up a Radiance. I'd just wait until he picks up a Blink Dagger, and then you really need to hunt the Zeus in the fight. While the Jug is a problem, he's not the biggest problem. The Zeus getting all of his spells off is the major problem. They don't have any BKBs yet, and they have a very squishy AA who's going to die very easily if they don't get anything off.
They killed Jinx top lane. I completely missed that. Apparently it didn't take too long to kill him.
It was a Blink stun into Wraith King stun into AA Blast. It wasn't too spectacular.
Yeah, it's classic ability usage. Just killing Mr. Spirit Breaker. We'll see a tier 2 for tier 2 tower trade. Both of these safe lane tier 2s will be dying. Though the Dire one is a bit more HP, it'll still die. There's skeletons there. There's siege units for both teams, so it'll be a good old tower trade. I don't think Dire will not even attempt to defend it. And both teams will head into their opposing side jungle. Gonna hit some creep camps, possibly put some wards up. You never know sometimes. Actually, both teams have wards that we do know what's going to happen. There will be some wards probably placed. Though Radiant may parlay the tower kill into another kill onto Jinx middle lane, They do see him. There is a... Never mind. Beast of US East opting to farm. But there's an airstrike on the Sand King. Is there friends? There is Zeus. There's a Redondo. Lasso is there on the Sand King. He's now very far back. And they're even just willing to let him die. They say, you know what? We're tired of picking bad fights. We're tired of picking one death and cascading it to 3 or 4 deaths. We're going to let our offlaner die. And we're going to run away in the opposite direction. And just say, you know what? It's going to be okay.
Yeah, when they use that many spells to just blow up your Sand King like that, it's better to just back up and reset.
Just walk away. Our man is dead. His life did not matter to us. What matters to us is the victory, apparently. Which is fair. Looking back at Heroes, obviously, Wraith King's still on top. Jug not too far behind. Just to remind the people out there, who wins in like a late game situation between the Wraith King and the Jug matchup?
I'd probably have to give it to Wraith King just because he has 2 lives. Obviously, you might tank one with Omni Slash, but then after that you should win the trade. However, the Jug can just pick up an Ags, which he is going for right now, which can output a lot of damage in these fights. However, I think Wraith King should get the jump with his current build because of the meta to pick up a Radiance and an Ags, so he should get a decent amount of damage off, and he does have follow-up stun.
Wait, can you not ping items in the lobby anymore? I'm trying to ping the Blink Dagger either way, though.
Yeah, I cannot ping items. I'm
not sure if it's a glitch or if it got removed. Either way, though, I'm very sad now. He did use the Blink top lane looking for a Jinx. Made us looking to stun Jinx. Either way, Jinx completely fine. We'll walk away. But there is a smoke on 3, possibility on 2. But it will not find anybody yet. Redondo is in the area. Clueless. And never mind, they find Clueless on the other end with Sand King. And there will be a Walrus Punch as well onto Redondo. Redondo has the Glimmer Cape. Ice Blast is there. Redondo will go down, but not before getting the Maledict off. PMA, Reincarnate, will get popped. CB will go down. There's a Burrow in the fight. Down goes Bat Rider. Back to the other end of the fight again. Artorius is there, fighting up with Jinx. And Airstrike is there on the AA. But now they're looking for Jinx, it appears. But Radiant are now in the retreat. Might let Artorius die. It's a 2 for 2 so far. In comes the Omni Slash. Down goes the Sand King. Actually, he is still alive. Has Blink in 1, but he will get canceled. So it'll be a 3 for 2 trade overall. And now, it happened again. This is another very drawn-out fight for 5 dudes that just simply did not go very well for them.
Yeah, the Coconut, Maledict, and Death Ward managed to bring down the Wraith King's first life. So he didn't really want to fight into this Juggernaut who still had Omni Slash up without his reincarnation, because that's just a death wish. Juggernaut's going to be looking for you for the rest of the fight. So it was really well played by the Witch Doctor and the Spirit Breaker there to kind of trap them in there and get those 2 quills quickly.
And just as a reminder for those at home, for 5 dudes, this is a must-win series. If they lose the best of 3, they are going home. So this is a tiebreaker 2 of 3. 5 dudes already lost 1 to 2 to Funny Zone. So this is a this is do or die for them. And right now, these fights they've been currently dying. So yeah. Either way, though, currently Marty Chang Slayers up by 9k. So it is a fairly sizable net worth lead. What does Dota Plus tell us today? Dota Plus says it's about a 70% chance for 5 dudes to win, though. Never mind, it's a 70% chance for Marty Chang Slayers to win. I forgot how to read your graph. It's okay, though. looks like Dire will be content with their current gains. We'll possibly... Actually, they might just be smoking. They are grouped completely as 5. There's a smoke available from the Spirit Breaker. So they will smoke as 5. They're going to smoke as 4. They'll charge in Jinx from a distance, it appears. Radiant did grab that shrine, though, so...
I think Radiant almost want to take this fight in the next little while. Omni Slash is still down for 20 seconds. That might be their best chance.
Looking at Radiant Vision, though, they really don't see too much. They saw some heroes over here by this this middle lane river area, but they're working with very limited information at this point. And Radiant will simply back away. Back to the mid lane, back to farming. Content with farming their BKB and PMA, it appears. Content with now having the finished BKB on their Bloodseeker, so That is going to be two 10-second BKBs in the relatively near future, which will be very huge against this this Zeus in particular, but obviously against a lot of these dire side heroes. Overall, though, we are at a nice little standoff situation. Both teams are a little bit afraid to take the bad engagement, it appears. At this point, if you're Marty Chang Slayers, what do you do to not throw this lead away? What do you do to maintain this lead? Do you look for Roshan? Do you look for pickoffs? What is your game plan here if you're Marty Chang Slayers?
I think they definitely need to smoke and get up a few deep wards. All of their wards right now are defensive. And you can tell that the Radiant's idea to get back into this game was to win a couple fights. They had these deep wards. They were taking over the enemy jungle. Then they had a few unfortunate fights, and they realized, hey, wait a second. We have a Wraith King with Midas Radiance. Why don't we just try and out-farm the other team?
Speaking of smokes, both teams are smoking, it appears. Dire already have smoke as 5, Radiant have a smoke available, and they're simply sitting on the high ground. Might smoke as 5 as well. So it's a full 5-minute smoke on both teams. Smokes immediately pop. In comes the stun, only on 1 from Sand King. Ace Class will hit on 2. Lasso is there on Artorius, so Ancient Apparition will go down. So far, we're not only death. He goes down. Epicenter is there, doing some damage to the Spirit Breaker, but he'll go down. Sand King dead. AA dead. Down goes Jinx. So far, it's good for the Dire, but Dire are a little bit on the run. Polo has no Omnislash, didn't do too much in the fight. Now he's spinning, trying to fight these these Radiant Cores, but they're actually chasing. Wraith King stun is there, other end of the fight, Snowball is there looking for this Bat Rider, and Polo still fighting PMA, Polo dropping very low. Meanwhile, other end of the fight, Chibi trying to fight, he'll eventually go down, but they're still chasing Polo. Nimbus is there, trying to play the Radiant, but they're chasing down with PMA, Blink was there, and CB did go down at the end of the fight, but now, Bat Rider's back, Zeus is back, PMA will pop the Reincarnate, Bloodseeker will eventually die to the Bat Rider, it appears. PMA is now back, and Bloodseeker is finally dead, and now it's PMA basically fighting against 3 heroes, but can the 3 heroes actually kill him? Yes, probably, but you never know. BKB is popped, he's fighting Bat Rider, is trying to run him down, has the stun in 2, will use it on Redondo, never mind, will not use the stun, has Blink in 1, will blink to the side, will try to run away, but they see him, Charge is there, Nimbus is there, they're going to stun him up, PMA will eventually go down here, and the kill will go to Jinx, and it's an absolute and complete disaster for the 5 average dudes. And it's a disaster again. That's the story of the game, is just every single fight appears to be going to the side of Marty Chang Slayers.
Yeah, I think they realize that Zeus is finally a problem. They take that great engagement up top, but then they see the Zeus in the river for a split second, and Wraith King branches off to go try and pick him off, but Zeus just blinks away.
Artorius is so dead right now.
Yeah, he did. Oh no, he didn't finish off the outpost, but they do still get one bottom.
And perhaps if you got the outpost, it might have been worth it, but alas, poor Artorius, simply dead. Either way, though, I mean, I asked you what Marty Chang Slayer should do. You said they should smoke up, look for an engagement. They found the engagement. So now what? Now what do they do to extend this lead they've already cultivated?
Well, they need to get vision down, which it appears they are trying to do, and then they need to get this Jug and Aegis and go push some of these outer towers. They need to try and choke the Radiant out of the map and maintain the gold lead.
So for 5 dudes, knowing that Marty Chang will be doing something very similar to that, how do you prevent that from happening?
You either need to farm where you can and try and catch up in the gold differential while they do that, or you need to smoke up and take an engagement and stop them from doing that.
Dire, they are fully grouped still at this Radiant Tri-Camp area. They actually are missing Jork, but Jork obviously has ways to contribute to the fight. Alright, they're now going for this Bat Rider. Bat Rider very low, Nimbus is there, he will use himself. Meanwhile, they're in the fight, Bloodseeker trying to fight, Sand King there as well. PMA, about the Reincarnate, other in the fight once again. We see Witch Doctor, he's going down, AA goes down, back there in the fight. Omnislash is there, down goes CB, now looking for PMA, who has no Reincarnate, but Polo's dropping very, very low. Silence is there at the Blood Right, down goes Polo. Charge will get cancelled, and now looking for Jork. Jork is isolated. He's fighting 3. They all are on top of him, and he's going to go down. They might just get this Bat Rider as well. Bat Rider is hasted, but there is a blink in 3 for Wraith. Never mind, the blinks are cancelled. Bat Rider's simply going to walk away, but at long last, 5 dudes get a good fight. This might be the first engagement of all game to kill both cores of Marty Chang Slayers.
Yeah, the Jug got really unlucky there. He started alting the Wraith King. The Wraith King stepped just close enough to bounce it to the Tusk, and the Tusk just ate the rest of the Omni Slash for the Wraith King. He managed to save that Omni Slash for the second life on Wraith King, but it just wasn't enough when it bounced like that.
And now at the stage of the game where Wraith King has that 40-second cooldown on the Reincarnate. It's already back. Burrow is there on Clueless. They're looking for Batrider, but he has the Lotus, and he has a Jinx backing up as well, so there will be no kill. But the tower cannot retreat. The tower is now dead. Tier 2 will fall to the Radiant Mill, so we're now starting to run out these outer towers for the Dire. They only have the solitary Tier 2 bottom lane. The rest of their outer towers are dead. And for Radiant, though, the tower situation is a lot better. They have a Tier 2 middle, and they have both their outer towers top lane, so that is one thing 5 dudes have done in this game, is keep those towers alive.
Yeah, it's very difficult for the Dire to take Roche with that tower there. Obviously, you can just buy back, quickly TP back in. Obviously, Radiant looking for Roche. They go take the Dire tower.
Alright, Charge is there. Will hit on 2. Nimbus is there as well as scouting that. There's an airstrike. Will hit on CB. In comes Lasso. It's on the Bloodseeker. Can they kill him? There's a Death Ward. He's going to drop low. Has that BKB though. Will pop out. Ice Blast will actually do very little. Death Ward still going through. Swift Slash is still going through. Zeus ulti. It's there. Down goes the Reincarnate. In comes the Sand King. Down goes Jinx. They're looking for more. They're looking for what appears to be Polo. PMA. He's fighting. Down goes Polo. Artorius is dead, but it's a great trade so far for the 5 dudes. They might be looking for more. In their mind, they're looking for nothing more. But either way, it's a fantastic trade. Simply killing that Jug and only losing your Ancient Apparition. Batrider is still in the area, but he has no lasso anymore.
That Bloodseeker got very lucky. The Zeus was unable to see him because of the trees in the mid lane, and he lived on about 20 HP when Zeus used both spells on the AA instead.
It's a rough tale for Marty Chang Slayers, and they've been fight after fight, things have gone well, but suddenly it's not going well anymore. So Sand King is looking for Batrider. Burrow was there. Snowball's there as well, but with that Lotus, it will delay the death of Batrider for now. There's a Wraith King, though, stun from PMA, so Batrider will not be able to escape. Will be another kill for 5 dudes. 3 are dead for Marty Chang Slayers, and at this point, they're back at the Roshan pit again. They're already there on 2.
The reflected snowball might have actually screwed him. It allowed the Radiant to get their stunts back off cooldown just in time for Lotus to end.
There's probably a little way out, sadly, either way. It's either use the Lotus Orb and the snowball delays the stuns, but also if you don't, they just kind of hit you, so it's a sad tale for Batrider. Nimbus once again there. That's how the last fight started. They scattered Roshan with the Nimbus, but this time Aegis simply going to 5 dudes to the side of Neff, 2 peripheral on this Bloodseeker. So overall, it's a good time for 5 dudes. They have put it together. Their draft, it is online. They're taking the right fights, and they've turned a 10k gold lead into a 1k gold lead in very little time.
Yeah, this Wraith King has become a raid boss. He has 5k more net worth than the Zeus, and he's now picking up an Abyssal Blade, and the Zeus and Jug are going to be very scared. Even this Batrider, if he decides to focus this Batrider with a Wraith Fire Blast and an Abyssal Blade, he could probably bring him down if neither one of them get reflected. There's only 2,000 health on the Batrider.
And it's one of those things, too, is the way PMA has been farming this game. There's a point where both Jug and Wraith King had 12k net worth, and now Jug is 16k net worth, but Wraith King has 24k net worth practically, so it's... This man is just farming. I mean, he has a Radiance and he's a Wraith King, but still, it's a lot of farm. I mean, Animidus, but...
Yeah, and you know those, that gold wasn't from kills because they weren't winning those fights.
Yeah. This is, you slowly kill the creeps, you hit your tri-camp, you hit your lane creeps, and eventually you too can kill people. Either way, though, looking at Radiant Vision, they see only Jinx. They will try to find him with the Wraith King. Abyssal Blade actually is finished. They will find Jinx. There's a Burrow as well as a follow-up. Snowball is there. Nimbus, it tries to help, but alas, it does very little to save Jinx. Simply an arc pick off 4 5 dudes. I believe for the first time in a... When's the last time you even had a net worth lead is the question. It's been a very long time. It's been about...
I think it was the laning stage.
It's been about half an hour. And now at minute 36, they have regained the net worth lead-ins. 5 dudes, they are playing like their tournament lives depend on it. And so far, they're staying alive.
Yeah, this Zeus, however, has picked up an Octarine core. which is actually a very good Zeus item now because it gives you the cast range from Aether Lens as well as
Jesus.
reducing the cooldown of all spells.
And it was already it was already a pretty good item on Zeus, so now it's just a better item on Zeus.
Yeah, this should really help with their base defense. It's going to be hard to fight into them. They have a Bat Rider with a Blink Dagger who is currently sniping a Courier. So that on top of having a Zeus, and if you do try and counter-initiate that initial initiation from the Bat Rider with Flaming Lasso, you could easily just get charged or coconutted and be absolutely screwed. So high grounding is going to be very difficult. However, they do have 2 people with 2 lives who can stand on the front line and hopefully, for the Radiant, take these towers.
Yeah, they have Aegis for 2 more minutes, so now might just be the time.
That's a
looking
very
at Dire,
good time.
they're actually not there to defend just yet. Wraith King, he blinked in looking for somebody, but there was nobody there! So they're simply going to hit this tower. Glyph is there for the Dire. There's a charge. Jesus Christ, Jinx is fast. But either way,
the
Push is not dead.
new Ags on Spirit Breaker is a little bit ridiculous.
That man was just like 1700 move speed or something. I don't understand. Does it tell me how fast it goes?
If he starts charging us.
Well, I'll have to wait for him to charge again. That was very, very fast. My God.
Yeah, pretty much gave him the old talent of sprinting really fast.
Apparently it's only 900. Okay, there's 1618 move speed with the spider legs. My God.
Spider legs, phase.
I was wondering how he was so fast.
Everything.
I was like, I know he's fast, but not that fast. Turns out, yes, he's that fast. Either way, though, 5 dudes still staying relatively grouped as 5. Dire will scan, will hit on CB, but looking at their vision, they don't know how many they've hit on. PMA, though, is looking for something. There's a Blink Abyssal onto Batrider. Wraithguard Blast is there as well. Income Sanking, there's a Burrow. Is there a cast in time? Will not be there. Jork casting spells from the high ground, but only a little bit of damage. Batrider actually has no buyback, but 5 dudes do not know that. But they might try to force it anyways. They're back to the bottom lane again. Skeletons are there. Cask doing nothing for now, but for 5 dudes, they smell blood in the water. They want this high ground. Tower, it's dead. And now they're onto the barracks. Nimbus, it's hitting. In comes a charge from Jinx onto Bloodseeker, but nobody's dead just yet. Dust is popped. Aegis actually expiring in a very, very short time, so this could be a very, very bad time for the Radiant if their Bloodseeker Aegis pops at the wrong time. Either way, though, Melirax are dropping. Slip Slash is there. Down goes the Reincarnate. Aegis was popped and actually did not get a full heal for the Bloodseeker thanks to the Zeus ulti. Beaking of Everything is popped, but in comes the Burrow. It's on 2. Down goes Redondo. Ice Blast is there. Hits on 2 in the backlines. There goes the Snowball. Polo dropping low. He tops the Omni Slash, but it's Lotus as well. And it's absolutely huge Lotus Lord from CB. Wastes the Omni Slash. Burrow is there. Down goes Polo. Melirax are dead. It's an absolute disaster for Marty, Chang, Slayers. There comes PMA. Abyssal on Batrider. Stun is there. Does he have follow? The answer is hell yes. Batrider has the Yules, but they'll hit the Burrow on the Polo instead, who bought back. And Marty Chang Slayers, they're back to the fountain at this point. This is an utter and complete disaster in the Lotus Orb. It's so huge. But now there's a lasso onto Tusk. Swift Slash is there. Down goes CB. They're going to let that man die. They're content with their gains. You saw the Omni Slash there, right? That was fantastic Lotus Orb.
They just ran out, but I think the Bloodseeker knew he was already on the low ground, and then they managed to kill off the Wraith King. Yeah, they managed to kill off the Wraith King the first time, but then the huge counter initiation from Sand King with his Epicenter and his Ags Blink just took out the Witch Doctor instantly and almost killed the Spirit Breaker as well. And then finally, the Jug finished his spin, but was ruptured on half health. He had to ult the first person closest to him, goes to ult the Tusk, and beautiful Lotus Sword from Beast of USDs just completely makes the Omni Slash useless.
You saw the classic quote-unquote anime dance of this Omni Slashing and an Omni Slash, and just both of them are wasted, so it's just... That's Jug's primary damage mechanism, and it's just wasted there, so... We've been talking all game about how Marty Chang Slayers have been ahead, but now they're behind, and now how do they pull it out? Because they're now down 11k gold, they're down by a set of racks, and this Wraith King is a significant problem. And how do they address this Wraith King to start with?
Well, I think it's very difficult to address the Wraith King. I think you just need to address his team. The Bloodseeker's cut up in gold now to the Jug. Before, he was quite far behind. But he's got his BKB, he's got his pistol, he's got his blade mail. And now, what you really have to do is, you can't really contest this Aegis. You don't want to be fighting too far out of your base, but if the enemy does come up, you need to lasso someone as deep as possible into your base and force a bad fight for the Radiant. Grabbing the Sand King, I think, is vital for the Radiant's team fight. So if you're able to lasso the Sand King and get him out of the fight, that's ideal, but it's going to be very difficult. He's very mobile with a Blink Dagger and an Axe. He can cross like half of the distance towards this fight that the Batrider can.
And they really wanted to try to get something. Redondo really wanted that cast there, but alas, it's a free tier 3 tower for 5 dudes. Epicenter, it's being animation canceled, but in comes PMA looking for Polo. Not looking for Polo, looking for Redondo. Redondo goes down. Ice Blast will hit on 2, but his last one as well brought PMA very, very deep. So he's a bit isolated with the Reincarnate, but his team is arriving. In comes the Snowball, in comes the Airstrike. Will hit on to the Wraith King, but he's at BKB already. Bloodseeker, BKB as well, trying to fight the charge through on CB. PMA's in, trying to fight Polo. Polo absolutely melted. Nimbus is through, but it's not enough damage. And at this point, the Burrow is hitting on both teams at this point, like that Lotus Orb. BCBOS is literally in the fountain at this point. Snowball, it's there on Jinx. Jinx taking a lot of damage, especially...
How is he alive?
Radiant... Oh, they're all still alive. Even the fountain cannot stop 5 dudes at this point.
Yeah, the Jug got silenced because he was stuck inside of the... he's stuck with Rupture. He wasn't able to get Omni Slash off before he got silenced, and the Wraith King saw that. He knows he doesn't have Manta and just jumped him.
The charge on 4 from Jinx, but Jinx is now dead, and the GG is called from Jork. Marty Chang Slayers, they have lost this game, and it was a rough loss. That was their game to win, and unfortunately for them, they just could not stop this Wraith King. Wraith King too big, his team played well around him, and at this point it's... For 5 dudes, they did exactly what they needed to here. They got the game won. So now it's one more game for 5 dudes. If they win game 2, they have escaped elimination for now at the very least. I'm not sure if they're mathematically through to playoffs if they win both games. Do you know that or not at this point?
I think if they win both games, they...
I mean, if they...
should?
Oh yeah, if they win 2-0, that should be enough. But what if they go 2-1 then?
If they go 2-1 and Marty Chang Slayers go 2-0, I think because they're even on games, it will go down to head-to-head, and 5 average dudes 2-0 Marty Chang Slayers. So then they would get it if they do 2-0. If they 2-1, well, if they 2-0, if they 2-1, then it should come down to that head-to-head tiebreaker. If they 2-1, no, sorry, if they 2-0, then they're definitely in, I'm pretty sure.
We are all confused over tiebreakers.
Yeah, because I think if Marty Chang lose this 2-1, and then 2-0 Funny Zone, well, okay, now this is confusing.
Let's just assume that both teams need to win every game at this point forward. Makes things a hell of a lot more simple. Don't think of math, just think WL. W good, L bad.
Why do you do this to me?
Artorius is chirping. Apparently us right now, so... Either way, though, we're going to be waiting on game 2. I mean, for game 1, what kind of post-game analysis can we give today? I mean, for Marty Chang Slayers, what do they do to prevent the turnaround? So we see on the graph, the turnaround was very precise. It was very rapid, and it turned out that they lost very rapidly. What do they do to prevent that from happening in the future?
I think they had that lead. They were winning those fights very well, but they never really got deep vision up. They were constantly playing on their own side of the map, and the fights that they were winning were all on their side of the map that were typically initiated by 5 average dudes. Once they had that lead, they did take that smoke, and they won the fight, but the ward that they got down was instantly dewarded, and they didn't have another one to place. So they never got that deep ward down, and they never took that top tier one from the Radiant, so they couldn't safely take the Roshan. And then on the flip side, as soon as 5 average dudes won that fight, they took that dire outpost, and they moved right to Roche, just instantly. They systematically took the fight, took the outpost, and went straight to Roche, and they eventually did secure it after another fight. And they were able to push with that Aegis advantage, whereas the Dire were never able to get that Aegis advantage. They never had the vision in order to take a fight and take Roche.
At this point, for 5 dudes, what did they do not fall into that hole in the first place? They fell into quite a significant hole there with those fights. Is it just, do you need to take the fights better? Do you need to take less fights? Or is it just what they did was fine in the very end? Just knowing that they have the Wraith King who's still farming.
I think the problem is they were trying to take team fights because they have a good team fight lineup, but the problem was they didn't have the tools to deal with some of the enemy heroes yet, so they needed to go for pickoffs. They needed to stack up the Burrow Strike with the whatever Bloodright. I can't remember Bloodseeker's W.
Bloodright.
Yeah, with the snowball, the Walrus Punch, the Cold Feet, and they just needed to pick people off. Instead, they were going for these big 5-man fights, and they couldn't find the Zeus. The Bat Rider would get lasso off on somebody, break up the fight. The Witch Doctor was getting coconuts off, and he was breaking up the fights. There was charge throughs coming around, breaking up the fight. There was always something breaking up their team fight combos. So they just needed to slow down, pick up the items they needed to deal with the Zeus, the items they needed to deal with the Bat Rider. They needed to be able to burst someone, and it was always being broken up. So either you need to go for pickoffs on single targets, split push a little bit until you have those items, and just calm down a bit.
Alright, that's fair. I'm making sure they tag up the game 1 victory in the lobby. Hopefully they do that. I don't trust the players.
Mm-hmm.
I do not trust the players. Especially after I think it was last time we casted, they didn't do it correctly, so
I never pay attention to it. I'm not watching the stream. I already know what happened in game 1.
yeah, but the people of League of Legends and Twitch.tv/BadgerPablo, they don't always know. They ask sometimes, like, hey, who won G1? And it's hard for me to, like, just, because obviously we're on this 2-minute delay, it's hard to, like, give them the instantaneous response. It's hard to, like, tab windows and say, hey, game 1 was won by X team, game 1 was won by Z team. You know, it's easier to have a nice little yellow button, so I can say, hey, look at the yellow thingy. People know what yellow thingies are, right?
So yeah, I have the chat open, but Snow is the only one talking, so I've just been choosing to ignore it.
There's a Birdman there. I need to go. Yep. I'm in the bathroom. I'll be right back. I apologize. Just wanted to hold it until the draft so you have something to talk about on the screen. I'll be right back.
But I'm great at talking about absolutely nothing. It's my specialty.
Yellow markers.
I just get to sit here and say words that make no sense. I love doing that. Did you know that in the Roman Empire, they had steam doors? They were automatic doors made with steam. They used... I don't know how they did it, to be honest, but apparently there was allegedly steam doors. This time, 5 average dudes banning the Tusk and picking up the Spirit Breaker. Will Marty Chang Slayer's first pick Monkey King because it is not banned. They seem to really like the Monkey King hero, but they have not picked it yet. They instead go with a Pango, which is interesting. Grimstroke, a bit of a counter to this Pangolier. However, now they pick up the Monkey King. It's looking like a little bit of a rough Pangolier game. You have Spirit Breaker, whose charge actually stuns Pangolier. Instead of stunning the Spirit Breaker, charge takes the win on that one.
So you've got two means of dealing with this Pangolier then. If the charge gives the auto priority and you have Nair Strike as well, then there's basically two ways for Spirit Breaker to ruin this guy's life.
Well, you also have Grimstroke ulti.
So you have three ways of ruining this guy's life.
Yes.
And they've only picked two heroes.
However, they did still let the Monkey King through, which they did ban last game.
Yeah, this game will be played by Pole. Obviously, one of his better heroes, so it's a little bit scary for the side of 5 dudes. And 5 dudes appear to be banning out. I mean, they banned out PMA Jug anyways, so I guess we will not be seeing a Jug for PMA tonight. Might just be his best hero, but either way, we're not going to be seeing it just yet. We are already through with this second ban phase. A lot of different heroes being banned in that second ban phase tonight. Seeing some Legion Axe bans, seeing Avenge ban even. Obviously Bloodseeker, Wraith King. They say, you know what, we just want to play different heroes. We don't want to see a repeat of Wraith King, Bloodseeker cores. Let's just play a different permutation of Dota 2. And now with Oracle, that's an entirely different sort of dimension than we saw last game, you know. A lot of the 5s last game were, you know, use stun, do damage 5s. Now we have an actual save 5 in the Oracle, so that should... How do you think it's going to affect the dynamic of this Dota game? How much do you think it's going to allow... Okay. There's your Oracle counter.
Yeah, now you have two heroes that are just there to jump Oracle. Tiny's actually looking very good this game. Pangolier does not have a high health pool, so he's another jumpable target for this beast of USD's Tiny.
I know I definitely said this exact same thing last time I casted this man playing Tiny. I just like watching this man play Tiny. You know it's going to be fun to commentate. You know, it's... We saw it last night where... Or not last night, the last time we casted this team, where basically they got this lead on the back of Tiny, and they threw away the lead on the back of Tiny. So, no matter what, it's going to be fun to watch. It's like, hey, Tiny's diving tower. He solo killed a core hero. That's a huge opportunity to go high grounds. And then a minute later, he dives tier 4s and dies going high grounds. So now it's, oh, we're missing Tiny.
This is going to be a very interesting top lane. It's going to be a small man with a big stick hitting a small man with a big stick.
Yeah, there's a famous quote from the late great Teddy Roosevelt about speaking softly and carrying a big stick. And we're going to see who today can do that. I'm fun. I think it should be a pretty fun lane. I mean, Monkey King Oracle should be able to... Actually, that seems like a rough time for Monkey Oracle. Maybe like level 1, level 2 it seems fine, but eventually Tiny's going to have damage, right?
Yeah, and Spirit Breaker doesn't really need a lot of levels. He pretty much just needs 2 levels. And he doesn't really need them that early. So the more levels he can give to this Tiny, the better. And the harder the lane is going to become for the Dire.
Okay. Is that...
Is this a 4 Pango, or is this a
Is that a mid
Underlord?
Pango or a 4 Pango? It's
Or an
gotta
offlane Pango?
it's gotta be a 3 Underlord, right? It's gotta be a 3 Underlord.
Oh, this is a very, very good Slark game.
Maybe it's not a 3
They
Underlord
currently
now.
do not have an answer for this Slark. Underlord in lane can beat a Slark, but if he has a 4 Pango, he is not going to beat a Slark, especially with a Grimstroke. That is very scary. I would be laning this Oracle 4 right now.
So if you're laning the Oracle 4, is it like Oracle 4, Underlord, off Pango, mid Monkey King carry, and you're picking a 5 at that point? Or what's the plan for Marty Chang Slayers in this draft?
I would put the Pango mids. No, they do have second pick, actually. They They might just try and counter pick the enemy mid and carry, and just give the Underlord a bit of a shit matchup. Just hope for the best.
Rough time. Yes, especially if it's rough to be a stand-in in that spot where it's like, oh, fantastic. I don't play with these players, and now I have to play the shit role in a shit lane matchup. Yay. This sounds fantastic. Either way, though, mid's being banned. 5 dudes, there's still some options. I mean, Void Spirit is available if that's what they're thinking about. Ember Spirit's still available if that's what they're thinking about. There's still a, what else is in the pool still? Those are the only 2 heroes that come to mind right now, but obviously there's other middle laners that are not banned.
Any evasive hero is very good right now, because all they have are 2 roots and Pangolier ult, and Monkey King Boundless Strike. There's not really a lot of reliable lockdown here.
So maybe like Void Spirit, Ember Spirit, Quap are on the mind for 5 dudes?
Yeah. Oh, well, maybe not Quap, you are against an Oracle. And maybe not Ember, you are against an Oracle. Those might be a little bit difficult.
I miss seeing Queen of Pain. I don't know about you guys. I miss seeing Quap.
I hate that hero. I'm a support. I just get hit by a dagger and there goes half my health pool.
Have you considered just not being hit by dagger?
I'm a 4 player. I pick stupid things like Spirit Breaker and run into the Quap. Of course I'm going to get hit by the dagger.
Have you considered charging from like an entirely, like 145 degrees at a different angle? So that way you're charging from up and to the left, and then Quap has to turn to dagger you, therefore she can't dagger you? Like, have you considered these things?
What if I just buy an Ags and I get Spider Legs plus Phase and I use my my W and I just run really fast?
That would indeed go pretty fast. Not sure if it'd solve your problems, but it would make you go fast, yes. And it is indeed the Void Spirit, so what was the first thought of me and the first thought of you turned into the eventual thought of the 5 dudes. And for Marty Chang Slayers, I mean, you see what they've picked, you know exactly where they're going to lane it as well. The question is, what do you do to solve the problem?
If Bloodseeker wasn't banned, it would have been a fantastic pick here. Void Spirit doesn't really want to get ruptured, he can't Astral Step. Slark obviously countered by Bloodseeker, but they banned it out to try and protect this Pangolier. But I feel like 5 average dudes felt like they already had enough to counter this Pangolier, that they didn't really need more. Now they kind of, in fact, just pick 5 heroes that are good against Pangolier. You have Spirit Breaker, who can stop him inside of ult 2 different ways. You have Grimstroke, who can silence him when he's not in ult, or screw him up with an ult. And there's your answer to Void Spirit.
And if you like spirit-based heroes, we got both. 2 kinds.
Yeah.
We got 2 kinds of spirits and 1 whole Spirit Breaker.
Yeah. I feel like you kind of had to stick this Pango on 4. There's too many answers. You have Silence from Void Spirit, Slark can pounce him, Tiny can blow him up. You have all these things to deal with this Pango, so at the end of the day, he just needs to be a roll.
So basically at this point, Slark's going to have a very fun time.
Oh yeah, 2 melee heroes that can't really do anything to him.
Basically, none of the heroes in the game particularly deal with Slark in the lane matchup should be good, correct?
Yeah, he has a Grimstroke in his lane, which is going to allow him to play extremely aggressive. This Underlord's going to want to hit level 3 as fast as possible for level 2 Firestorm to hope that Slark gets off of him. But at the end of the day, this Underlord needs to shove the wave as much as possible to get as much right-click damage as he physically can, and hope that this Pango gets some lucky procs.
Wait a minute.
Purged.
Does this Ember have 1 Divine Rapier and 1 Nunchuck? He does.
Yes.
I didn't know you could equip 2 different swords on Ember, cosmetically. I thought you had to, like, equip dual swords. Is my cosmetic game been that weak? My god. Either way, though, we are here on game number 2 of what could be a 2-game series, of what could be a 3-game series in this best of 3. 5 dudes are up 1 game 2-0, and they are once again on the Radiance. And Marty Chang Slayers, who led for most of game 1, are looking to not make the same mistakes and to win game number 2. I need to update my Twitch now. My OBS. Because these teams did not... We're actually seeing smoke from the Radiant, but you know what? I'm just going to put this little thing over... Oh, God. I don't have time to fix this, do I? 5 dudes. 1-0. Marty Chang.
It looks like it might be a little bit until they actually encounter someone.
Right,
Pango is walking up the high ground.
No, I will correct it later. All is fine. They have 4 heroes on the low ground, actually. And they do see the Pango. Jinx has the swashbuckle, but PMA's on the low ground.
If Slark pushes them into them, that could be huge.
Alright, they're now on Jinx. Swashbuckle is to the right, but it's right into this Void Spirit and Tiny. Charge is there. In comes Stroke of Fate, and that's the kill for the Tiny. So it will be 2 bounty runes for 2 bounty runes, plus a First Blood for our boy Tiny, the Beast of US East.
Tipping his mid laner for the mists.
So sometimes you just miss Remnant, you know? Sometimes you just miss your Remnant. It happens. I've been there. I play Void Spirit. It is definitely the hardest Remnant to use of any of the Spirit's Remnants, so I understand.
I think I've played 2 games of Void Spirit in my life.
It's like Storm, you kind of just put it on the ground. Earth Spirit, you put it in the ground. Ember, you put it in the ground. Void Spirit, you have to aim the Spirit. And you might say this is inconsequential, but it's an added degree of difficulty, you know what I mean? Especially if you're
Earth Spirit only has a limited amount of them.
You gotta be very careful with it too, you know? It's a real Dota 2 hero right there.
And you break them, but I still need them.
Either way, though, CB will grab a courier right away. So Redondo's courier, it is dead. R.I.P. Tangos for Mr. Redondo.
Pango looks to be dragging the wave as they cannot lane versus the Slark, and Underlord has been unable to touch the creep wave yet.
Yeah, both teams are doing some lane dragging. Jinx grabbing at bottom lane, CB grabbing at top lane, and both 5 supports are contesting it. This is Dota 2, it's just a good little creep manipulation. Tiny has arrived, so both teams really contesting these second lanes. Looks like Radiance. Okay, there's a pounce from Slark on Pango. Stroke of Fate is there. Pango should be fine though. Yeah, Swashbuckle is there, but that's a lot of damage onto Jinx. South is popped, so very good trade for 5 dudes. And overall, lanes are going pretty alright for them, but it's still pretty even for both teams. Neither team off to a particularly great lead just yet. Could we pick items again? We cannot, sad.
In this mid lane, who is actually supposed to win this? Because half the time I see Void Spirit winning this, but everyone seems to counterpick Ember into Void Spirit.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, it's a relatively decent pick where you can win it, but you're probably not going to lose it. It seems like a relatively even matchup to me. But
so, is it like a skill matchup then?
Probably. I mean, it's 2 very skill-based heroes, 2 very flashy heroes. I would expect it to be that way. Obviously, neither of us really play mid, sadly, but either way, bottom lane. Inkswell is there. They have a Pounce as well. Will not be used on the Underlord just yet. The Underlord a bit too tanky. PM taking a lot of damage. Pounce is there. They'll find a kill onto Underlord. Can Jinx get a counter kill? The answer is maybe. He needs 2 more hits. 1 is there. Has Swashbuckle in 6. Stroke of Fate will slow up Jinx. And actually, he might just go for Artorius instead. Swashbuckle will kill the Grimstroke. PMA is still here, has Pounce available, will go for Jinx. Jinx needs some lucky shots. Can he get them? Never mind, actually will not need them, because he'll walk away from Pounce. By the way, this bottom lane, this is where the fun is. All the fun is bottom. Really exciting lane so far. A lot of brawling going on down here. Almost surprised that Spear Picker's not like sending a charge down there. It's like, hey, I will contribute to this fight, sure. I will do something. Overall, though, anything out of the ordinary you've seen so far in this laning phase, or has it always been, you know, standard affair in terms of the creep manipulation and these both safe laners and mid laners getting a decent amount of harm so far?
I think it's been pretty standard. Lanes haven't gone extraordinarily one way or the other, except for kind of bottom lane. Although the Slark actually doesn't have as many last hits as I thought he would. He's been a little bit more on the aggressive side rather than focusing on his farm. So the little bits of creep manipulation has allowed these offlaners to farm a little bit.
They are seeing CB try to scout the rune for his little buddy Void Spirit, and Void Spirit actually does get the rune bottom, even though the Ember and the Pango were in the area, but Void Spirit not really at risk of dying there, so he was safe to just be there and grab that Invis rune, so it's a good time for Void Spirit, who is barely leading the CS charts as of now. We're seeing once again Underlord once again grab this wave bottom. Artorius is there to try to hit him, but it's just no damage. The range creep actually will get dragged to the small camp, so it won't be a full wave taken. And Pang gets the last hit anyway, so I guess there is no happy day for Grimstroke right now. It's like, you know what, no matter what I do, it's not working. There's a charge on Polo, but that's going to do literally nothing. They will root this CB, but CB is going to walk away despite... I'm not even going to call it a high effort. It's a low effort to stop him from walking away.
Yeah, he did it to try and secure the range creep with the charge.
Bounty runes so far have gone to the Dire, and they will look for Notorious bottom lane. Notorious will look for the bounty rune. He did get it, but it appears as though he will pay for it with his life. Looks to neutral deny, will not find it. And as that happens, CB was once again being a bit of a bother top lane. Was being chased by both Polo and Redondo. Polo probably saved Redondo's life there. Actually wasn't watching the engagement at all, but regardless... Polo's back to Lanian. We'll get the Jingu Mastery, we'll get the down strike. CB charges in, but... yeah, nothing will happen there. So overall, 2 for 2 in terms of kill score. CS, both off-laners behind the safe laners. Both mid laners relatively even. It's a pretty even start to the game so far.
Yeah.
So we're simply waiting for something crazy to happen, pretty much. And with these 6-minute runes, something crazy might happen. Will it be bottom? It will be bottom, but it is not a crazy rune. It is a boring rune. It is an illusion rune, so... we won't see anything too wonky with that. Either way, there's a charge top lane. They're looking for Pole. Tiny Combo is there, and they will get a kill. So a very important kill for Radiant. They saw Redondo was missing, did some pulling, and they punished him for it by killing his carry, which is bad time for the Marty Chang Slayers.
He wouldn't have been able to save him anyways. He doesn't have a point in Fate's Edict yet.
Ah. Either way, though, Jorik is fighting peripheral. Ember actually might have accidentally used Shoe Darkness there to escape. Either way, though, Jorik will escape, will salve up, will be fine for now. Top lane, Tiny might just go again at some point if he gets the right opportunity. He's fighting Redondo right now. Redondo goes down. Charge as well onto Polo. Needs a lot of bashes. Will not get... okay, you actually will get a bash here. We'll stop the Jingu from happening. So Polo has to get the balance strike to simply get the Jingu to pop. In comes Jinx. Buckler there, but Jinx actually in the trees right now, so not a great thought for Jinx.
Polo's gonna die for this.
CB will die. Tiny Combo is there. Polo actually still alive for now, but will die to the tree toss, so...
Wait, is Jinx stuck?
He's still
Jinx
stuck in
the tree.
That's Swashbuckle in one. Redondo actually tangled him out, and Beast of USEs might just die for this. They have another Purifying Flames, but they need more damage. Tiny has that salve. Tiny Combo is there. Down goes Jinx. He's still alive. In comes CB. Redondo is trying, but he's still not dead on Tiny. They're going to probably kill Redondo again. Tree Toss, it is available if they want to use it. They need one more. Yeah, there it is. The kill will go to CB this time. This is... it's an absolute clown show in the top lane. The Beast of USEs has got 4 kills.
You want to talk about space? The Slark is probably on comms right now saying thank you very much.
Thank you. Underlord is top lane. Pangolier is top lane. Oh, there's nobody in my lane. All is good. You figure it's like
the point where you're a 5-player and you're like, what the hell am I doing? There's nobody in my lane anymore. You just see Notorious running around the map.
So apparently devoid of stimulus, he just goes into the enemy tri-camp and dies, because he is now fighting a 1v3 in which he will pay for it. Can he TP away? The answer is certainly not. Balance strike is there. Neutral creeps. He tried to deny, but instead there will be a kill for Jorik. I'm actually curious. What was he doing there, actually? He has no wards. What's he doing there?
I know 100% what he's doing. He's walking into the triangle camp, and he's like, hey guys, there's nobody here. Oh, hey guys, there's 3 people here. Space created.
I don't think he...
100% what he's saying.
I guess it's a little bit of space created, but not that much. Either way, PMA will now TP top
Artorius
lane.
loves running into the
strat camp.
loves running into the enemy triangle camp. Yeah, we did it all the time together last season.
Fun. Either way, though, both carries have headed to their the opposite side of the map now. Polo's playing bottom lane, PMA's playing top lane. Both of them... Oh! Jinx played middle lane. I did completely miss that. Tiny rotated over. They had the Void Spirit. They had the Grimstroke. Jinx a little bit out of position over here in this area. They were looking for some kind of kill onto this Void Spirit, but alas, Jinx was the casualty to any aggression there. That was a fast kill.
Tiny was rotating bottom. His Slark wants top lane.
Oh, it's like, alright, there's a free hero on my path bottom lane. Nice.
Yeah.
It's like, alright, Polo went bottom lane to get away from this Tiny, and guess who arrived bottom lane? It's our buddy, Man of Rock, Tiny. Either way, Void Spirit is looking for this minute 10 bounty rune, as is CB. CB will charge, he gets rooted. CB probably isn't going to die here to Polo. Meanwhile, the Void Spirit is a bit isolated, has one Astral Step, but will go up with it. In comes Ember, has chains, will use, he's fighting too, but there's more battle heroes on the way. Bound Strike will get dodged. Can he TP away? The answer is no. Even if the root was not there, he probably would have still died there right clicks, so. Ambitious play from Neff there on that Void Spirit. Did not escape. Did pay for his attempts.
Yeah, it was a good kill from Marty Chang Slayers. They
looking for Tiny as well. They are diving.
Yeah.
Chains are there, but never mind. They lack the damage. You were saying before that?
They definitely need something. They this Tiny's coming online as you see this Tiny do multiple times in the past. They need to slow down Radiant's aggression. It looks like they really want this mid tower. Radiant's getting the top tower. So they really need to find something.
Alright, Tiny will go now on Pangolier. Faith Edict actually was there from Redondo, so good save from Redondo on the Pangolier. Jinx will now use that roll, will look for something. Tiny dropping low, in comes Ember with the remnants, the pit from Underlord onto, but so far it's only the Oracle dead, now it's Underlord dead as well. Nair Strike is there on Jork. They're still fighting the Underlord pit, but they just don't care. Buckle's there from Jinx, but Jinx dropping very low. Artorius not even dead either. He finally will die. But so it's a 2-for-1 so far, but they also pick up Jork on an Ember Spirit. Jinx will TP away, but it's a very costly engagement for the Marty Chang Slayers. It's a 3-for-1, and certainly not a favorable 3-for-1 either. They might get the bottom tier 1 tower soon, but they also lost the top tier 1 tower, so it's a tier 1 for tier 1 tower trade once again. Both safe lane tier 1s dying.
Oh, if Tiny didn't hit that, he would have been able to deny it.
Sometimes you just you hit things and you don't think about what you're hitting. You just die. This is Dota 2 for you.
Oh jeez, what the hell? Slark's been farming like a madman. He now has 89 last hits, and the next closest is 65 on Ember.
Yeah, I mean, even though he has no kills, he's the number 1 in net worth as well. He's 5,600 net worth, and his 2 cores are number 2 and 3 in net worth as well. So it's a fantastic start for Marty, or sorry, for 5 average dudes. I mean, everybody but Artorius on that Grimstroke is farmed right now. So
yeah, anyone who has more farm than Beast of USE's Tiny is doing something correctly in their game.
So PMA has the Artorius seal of approval, doing something correctly. We don't know what, but something.
This Beast of USE's, when he gets Tiny, this man, I have not seen him have a bad game on Tiny in the first 20 minutes. He just destroys, and I don't understand it. The hero was supposedly nerfed, and no one is picking Tiny anymore, but this guy gets it and just goes off.
Maybe he is playing Tiny on the last patch, where it's like, alright, he has the unnerfed Tiny the rest of us aren't playing with. That might explain a lot of it.
Yeah. He just has
he's just hacking the game.
All the old damage numbers.
No wonder we're dying. He has busted damage numbers. Either way, he picks up a Blink Dagger on Tiny, so it'll be time for a smoke play, I'm sure. They actually have 2 smokes on the Grimstroke, so it might just be a 3-man smoke into a Tiny combo onto some unsuspecting dire mark. Perhaps Ember, perhaps Polo on that Monkey King. Either way, the Void Spirit is diving, looking for Redondo. They have the Spirit Breaker charging in, but they have Jinx in there as well. Artorius will go down here, so he'll be the first casualty. And now, Airstrike is there looking for Redondo. This is a not very good dive for the Radiants. Void Spirit escapes, but that was very ambitious. Luckily for 5 dudes, their Void Spirit didn't die for it. Now, meanwhile, Tiny is there. The problem is, it's an Underlord with a mech. Not an easy jump. Pit is there onto, in comes the roll, looking for peripheral. It is hitting twice, chains are there, so down goes Void Spirit eventually. Was a attempt to survive with it assimilate, but alas, simply too much persisting damage to escape. And now, Artorius is back into the fight. He might just die again. This is the second time Artorius is going to be dying in this team fight. Bounce Strike is there. It's on 2. PMA, he's dropping low. He's trying to stay alive there, but never mind. In comes CB. Charges there. Will distract the Dire, so PMA will still escape there. But now chasing CB. In comes Tiny. Will stun 2, but Tiny's very, very low here. He gets chained. He gave his life to try to save CB. The question is, can CB even survive? He'll charge away, so he will be fine, it appears, but this is an extended fight and not a great one for 5 dudes. Void Spirit's once again back. He has his Astral Steps. They're trying to escape now with that Dark Rift. Can they escape on everybody? And the answer is yes! What an absolute great fight for Marty Chang Slayers. And on the other side, an absolute disaster for 5 dudes. And CB might just die top lane as well. Chains are still available. Jork has not used them. And apparently will not use them either, because CB has run away. But even without the kill
he might die to the tower shot, yeah.
Oh, he died to the tower shot as well, Jesus.
I think Firearms dudes kind of got a little bit relaxed there and just started making whatever plays they felt like.
Tiny is looking for Redondo, but he's not even killing Redondo just yet. Fate's Edict is there, so Redondo is still alive. Jinx is there, once again has the roll. Tiny trying to kill Redondo. Redondo's still alive, and it's 5 dudes have killed nobody in all of this engagement, by the way. Nobody's tied on 5. 5 dudes found no kills. Marty Chang Slayers, no deaths. This is disastrous. And now PMA's once again in the fight on Slark. Bound Strike, it's there on Tiny, and Void Spirit's here. But at this point, you're saying, you know what? We're good. We're done fighting. We got like 7 kills across the map in the last 2 minutes. We don't need more of this. We can farm our Ember Spirit top lane. We can farm our monkey at the Tri-Camp. We don't need to be here. We don't want to be here anymore. We're good. Either way, they might finally get a counter kill. Redondo is hasted on that Oracle, but he obviously is a very easy kill if he gets locked down. Yeah, there's Tiny combo. There's an airstrike. Won't even be needed. Won't even be completed. Redondo goes down. So at least 5 dudes get some kill across the map in the last, like, 2 minutes. But even then, despite, what, 7 deaths in the last 2.5 minutes, 5 dudes are still at a 2k gold advantage. So despite their best efforts, they are still in the lead.
Yeah, I think the problem is that the Dire have just recently picked up their Maelstroms, so their farming items are just coming online now. So while they do have them, they haven't had a chance to actually use them.
Alright, bottom lane, Battle Strike, it's to round 1. In comes the roll. In comes the root from that Fortune's End bottom lane. So there will be a death on Tiny. Beast of the US East has been neutralized. They might look for CB, but that's not going to happen. I mean, Redondo, he's been in the right place at the right time so far. He's been using a lot of Purifying Flames in these fights, a lot of Fortune's End in these fights, a lot of Faith's Edicts in this fight even. So far, he's done a decent job of just not dying all the time. Obviously, he's died sometimes, because, I mean, Blink Tiny combo. Meanwhile, speaking of 5 supports dying, we have Artorius middle lane on that Grimstroke. He's being jumped by 2 heroes. They will easily bring him down. So obviously with the help of the Ember and the Pangolier, it's a very easy kill for Marty Chang Slayers. And they'll parlay that double kill across the map into a tier 1 tower kill middle in. Jesus. I mean, for 5 dudes, they have the gold lead, but it feels like they have no momentum right now. What are they doing wrong? How do they just solve these problems?
It's the same problem as last game. They're taking awkward 5-man fights. Only this time they actually don't have the better team fight. The Dire have the better team fight. So while they aren't having
Tiny combo middle lane. Oh my! Underlord just died.
Holy
wow!
He has the full Greaves. He just isn't able to pop it. I guess. Yeah, he just has a naked Greaves, so he only has 1300 health.
Meanwhile, they will get
And
a counter kill on CB bottom lane with the Boundless Strike and the rotation for Pulp. That does so much damage on Tiny. I don't understand. That's an Underlord. It's a tanky hero, man. Yeah. It's a very tanky hero. This is awestruck right now. I'm literally awestruck.
PMA might need to be careful here.
Yeah, he's a bit alone. Jork is there. Has the chains if he wants to go for it. Has, I believe, all 3 remnants. Okay, he has 2 remnants, but he has one of them as a defensive remnant right now. So PMA appears to be fine. Yeah, PMA is completely fine, actually. Jork dropping the chains and just completely running away.
The Dire have changed up their warding strategies a little bit, though. They do have these deep wards down, and they can make these plays.
Jork came close to dying middle lane, perhaps, but it's a good defensive round that keeps him alive. Tiny one of them, but okay. But bottom lane, Artorius is probably dead. Boundless Strike is there. Actually, Artorius can just TP away now. There's the Boundless Strike has been used, so he's okay. Keep fighting Artorius is not dead yet. We'll have to wait another 2.5 minutes to see him die, perhaps. Might be generous, but still.
Void Spirit's completed his Ags.
That's a huge item.
However, he doesn't have any defensive items yet, so if they get the engagement, it could be very good. But if he gets engaged on, it could just mean death. Monkey King actually just going for a BKB second item. I think they're starting to get a little bit scared of this Tiny.
Alright, what is Tiny up to? He's been chained, he's been swashbuckled. Roll is there. Can they kill him? The answer is probably not. They're certainly going to try. Charge will be there on Redondo. There's a Soulbind, I believe, only on the Ember for now. Has not lasted anybody, but he cannot escape just yet. Jork goes down, and now they have leashed onto Redondo. Redondo is going to go down, so that's 2 kills for the Radiants. Obviously, I mean, it's one of those things where if Soulbind's on one target, but it doesn't leash, he still cannot remnant away, correct?
No, he can if he's not leashed to anyone.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah, he has to be leashed to someone in
Middle
order
lane.
for it to...
How did he die there on
That
Jork?
was close. So he was silenced by Grimshark.
Oh, I completely... that makes more sense. I was like, yeah, he must be unable to go away. There's no way he can't defensively run. No, wait. He's an Ember Spirit and can't hit things because he can't right-click, pretty much.
I'm surprised they lost that fight, though. Tiny combo was down. He had already used Avalanche. And they had very good vision here. They knew where all the Radiant heroes were. But I guess they just didn't want to fight. They had 2 people go in and 3 people run away.
Yeah, might just be on the wrong page there. Especially with having a stand-in player right now. Might not be on the same page in terms of, like, should we be engaging or not.
Well, they've been playing with Clueless for a few games now.
Oh, yeah,
I assume their communication should be good.
Might be.
Well, it's been on and off. He's stood in a few times throughout the season.
Either way, though, we're going to see a bit of an engagement in the Star Jungle. Tiny combo is there. It is on Jork. Jork's going to go down. Roll is there. It's hitting on to 2 for now, but nobody's dead just yet on the Radiant. Meanwhile, Clueless dies on the Dire, so it's not a great fight so far for Marty Chang Slayers. Can they just lose the 2, or will they lose more? Pengo appears to be good to go. Redondo on the Oracle appears to be good to go as well, so it's only 2 deaths, but it's not a very good 2 deaths to have. It is your Underlord, and it is your Ember, which means your Tier 2 tower top is a very unfortunate casualty of that fight.
Yeah, Dire... That delays Dire's BKBs, so it delays their fight timings. And on top of that, the Radiant are picking up their BKBs now, so the more pickoffs they get like this, where they delay the Dire's BKB timings, they'll get their BKB timings at the same time, if they are able to do that.
Void Spirit
and they have more
really
items.
wants something bottom right now. He really wants to go, but there's just too much defensive abilities from Dire.
However, there is a charge coming through, so they know
will
exactly
see
where Redondo is.
So Redondo, I mean, he kept Polo alive, but alas, poor Redondo. He died for his team. It's the fate of the 5 sometimes. Just die for your team. Yeah, Jork he's playing loose and dangerous this game. Escaping death multiple times. Either way, the roll will be there. Tiny is a bit isolated, so he's fighting in a 1v3 right now, but he has friends coming. CB is there, but not there fast enough to save Beast of US East. Meanwhile, Artorius and PMA are on this high ground, but Inkswell's already on cooldown, so they might just need to run away and say, you know what? This is back. Our rock is dead. He cannot stun things. This is not dying our other heroes.
Yeah.
You mentioned the BKB timings earlier, though. Monkey King has finished his. That is one key BKB pickup for the Dire. And Ember's getting quite close to his as well, has 2 components, so if we're doing a BKB watch, Dire on their 2 main cores are quite close. Speaking of Radiant defensive items, though, you mentioned earlier that Void Spirit didn't have a defensive item. He also is working on a BKB. He's up to 1 components. And Slark 2 is buying a BKB. So if you like BKBs, we're going to see a lot of BKBs.
Just wait until you check Tiny's inventory.
5 whole BKBs. We can count to 5. We did it. We had difficulties in math the other cast. This time, we can count to 5 correctly.
These fights are going to be a little bit weird when the BKBs come out, because the Radiant do have a few answers. They have Grimstroke ulti, they have Spirit Breaker, they have Slark, who doesn't care as much about BKBs. And on the flip side of things, you have Monkey King, who, again, doesn't really care as much about BKBs. So there's multiple scenarios that these fights, like multiple ways these fights could turn out. The other heroes, as soon as those BKBs come out, however, are going to feel absolutely useless. They're really not going to do anything. So it'll be interesting to see how these fights break out with these BKBs down.
Bottom lane, there's a charge on Pole, and their strike is there. Tiny is there, has the combo, but the BKB's there as well, so Polo will not be dead just yet. We might see a fight break out elsewhere as well. Void Spirit is there, so Polo's fighting 1v3. Polo probably will go down here. Meanwhile, Artorius will die as well, so we'll be a 1-for-1 across the map here. Probably shouldn't have panned away from Polo dying to see a support die, but you know what? Wanted to catch both heroes dying a little bit.
Definitely favors the Radiant. They got a BKB charge down, still got the kill, and Grimstroke didn't even use his ult, so he will have it when he's back up.
I mean, even now, this is compare it to 5 support dying to carry dying. Just that alone is huge for them. But either way, Tiny is there. Down goes Oracle. Redondo now dead. Meanwhile, PMA and Neff looking for Underlord. Underlord's going to eventually go down here. He'll go down. CB will be the casualty of that engagement, but it is a good 2-for-1 for 5 dudes. Marty Chang Slayers are down to just 2 heroes, and they do still have PMA, who has, you know, BKB, the Echo, the SNY. He's a pretty farmed Slark right now. Tiny, ooh, good reaction from Jorik. Staying alive there, not being completely eviscerated and annihilated by the Tiny combo, but still.
I'm not a fan of how 5 average dudes are playing. Support players are humans too. Don't let them die.
I think you're biased here, sir. I think you're biased in this issue.
I'm not biased at all. I'm playing offlane tomorrow. What do you mean?
For those who are unaware of what I'm referencing, we'll be seeing a, how do I describe this? A show match, a clown match, a circus between the Ladmins.
Clown match, for sure.
Clown match. We're going to see a clown match exhibition between the League of Lads admins and the MD2L admins, which will feature our one and only Artorius here, playing for the Lads side, so that'll be interesting. Either way, bottom lane, Tiny, bit isolated, he is rooted. There's a balance strike from Polo, so Tiny dropping very, very low, but he's not dead just yet. Void Spirit and Slark have arrived, but Tiny will eventually end up dying to Redondo. However, actually, Wukong's command is here, so this is still a pretty fight for Dire. The leash is there. It's on 2 of these Dire cores. The PMA is still fighting. He's looking for Jork, trying to do damage to Polo. He's just moving around this fight constantly, trying to do something. Nobody's dying just yet. Found the strike. Finishes up CB. PMA still fighting. Finally kills Polo, but he's starting to run out of abilities, run out of HP. He goes down to Jorik. And Peripheral is still here, is still fighting. Dissimulates over the cliff, but they might just chase him. And they chase Artorius as well with Jinx. So now, it's a 4v1. There's an asshole step to the left, but they know exactly where he is. We'll get a kill on the Jinx, but he will die for that kill. And overall, for 5 average dudes, it's 5 dudes who are now dead. It's a 5-for-2 fight, and dare I say, that's a very, very rough fight for them.
Yeah, they're one of their most important heroes right now. Their Tiny just got killed without being able to ever use his combo. They still took the fight afterwards, and Slark was getting a lot of stacks, but he wasn't able to focus one person down. He had to bounce from target to target, and in the end, they just lacked that little bit of extra damage that they needed from that tiny in order to bring anyone down.
Yeah, it was definitely a rough fight, a rough start to the fight for the Beast of UFC. He was basically under a tower there, completely isolated. His teammates had to try to save him there. And they simply couldn't save him, and even if they did, it's not a great fight for 5 dudes. Maybe just let your guy die at that point.
Yeah. They don't let their cores die, but they let their supports die. Okay.
We're seeing the consequence. Maybe they seem to be letting more heroes die. Maybe everybody at PMA just let them die.
So now this Tiny does have his BKB finished, so he should not be in a scenario like that again.
Hopefully. You never know with the Beast of the UFC. This man is certainly an erratic Dota player. High highs, low lows. You never know. You never know sometimes what he's gonna do. So he might go for a some kind of crazy and wild play, and it might just backfire. You never know. Either way, it looks like Polo is just simply farming top lane, but there is a charge on him, but it will not be canceled in time by PMA. Attempted there with the pounce, but instead CB appears to be caught middle lane. Tiny is there, but there's not much Tiny can do to save him. In comes the Tiny combo actually on Redondo. Redondo is not dead, so it might just be both the Radiant Heroes dead here. BKB popped by Tiny. There's Wukong's command. It's pretty much wasted. CB goes down. There's a soulbind on Redondo. Won't leech to anybody though. Down goes Redondo. CB will buy back, and this fight now is getting a little bit crazy. Now Peripheral's on the run. Polo has Bound and Strike in 2. But CB is going to arrive once again with that buyback.
I need to be careful.
Pounce is there on Jork. Actually, it's a very, very good pounce, but Jork pops the BKB. Underlord Pit, it's there on 4. Slark trying to fight in the backlines, but they know where he is. His haste rune is now over.
That was the weirdest pounce I have ever seen. He
And
pounce missed because of the Sleight of Fist, but then when he came out of the Sleight of Fist, he landed on top of the Ember.
Hey, it works. This is Dota 2 for you. And Tiny is once again isolated. This time BKB is on cooldown. He walks into the tri-camp looking for some kind of play. He does a lot of damage, but a lot of damage equals no kill sometimes, and he'll be dead for that play.
Walking into the enemy triangle when you just started to fight and you're on the other side of the map, chances are the enemy will be there.
I mean, we're seeing literally no vision here. We're seeing CB even drawing on the map like, hey, we were here. They're there. Don't go there. Apparently, alas, Beast of UFC has paid for his sins. He'll be dead for a bit. Ultimately, though, 5 dudes still maintain the 4K gold lead. Slark is the hegemonic figure in terms of net worth right now. He is still number 1 in net worth by a pretty good margin. Void Spirit, Monkey King, Ember, Tiny, not too far behind. Though the Radiant supports are currently suffering. However, they do leash on the Polo. Charge is there. In comes Nair Strike. In comes Stroke of Fate. BKB pop by Polo. Can they lock him down? Can't do anything. Soulbind is there. But in comes the false promise from Redondo. They're keeping him alive. They're trying to just keep him alive. It's not enough damage, I don't believe. And Polo all the way at the fountain, yeah, will barely be alive there. So despite the best efforts there from 5 dudes, they just didn't have enough. Like a little bit of damage.
You have a question in chat for you, Badger.
Question in chat. Where in CT are you from? I am from, basically I'm a stone's throw away from New Haven, so, in terms of, like, where I am located. If you're curious where I am, but...
I guess the only relevant information there is he is not from Canada.
I'm not from Canada, yeah. I'm unlike you, who is a stone's throw away from Detroit. I am not from Canada. You're a stone's throw away on the good side of the throwing a stone.
Yes. I am not in Windsor.
Very lucky.
The Canadian Detroit.
Sure, it's appropriate. Either way, though, we are seeing Radiant are mostly grouped again. Do they have a smoke? They have 2. So we will once again see. Oh, we have 2 on CP as well. I was looking at Artorius. He's usually carrying the smokes for him, so we'll get smoke on 5.
They run into the Oracle here.
And they see Redondo. Will they kill him? The answer is certainly. I don't know why I phrased it as a question. That was the single most obvious kill of the entire game. It's a tiny combo as well onto Jinx. He will Swashbuckle. He has the roll as well. And he has that Blink Dagger, so he will escape. There's a charge from CB, but it's going to be a very, very deep dive. They will go with the Ink Soul. They will kill Jinx, but actually... Nah, they let him die. I was going to say, maybe Dire might try to save him knowing what's coming, but you know what? It's a 4-pango. You let him die. Simply let that man die.
Chasing clueless.
There is a Dark Rift from Underlord. We'll simply keep him alive there. Alright, so who do we need to talk about right now? Let's talk about Marty Chang Slayer. So, they're on the back foot right now. It seems like they've been playing well together, but it hasn't been enough to really grab any kind of lead. What do they need to do to like convert this into sort of like lead to win this game?
They're definitely going to need to win a few fights. They're going to have to win one defensively, then they're going to have to win one offensively, and they're going to start to need to take objectives. Again, they're on the Dire, and they have not taken this Radiant Tier 1 yet, so they can't really contest Roche. It's going to be very difficult for them. They don't even have the outposts in this point of the game either, because they've been typically playing in their own triangle, rather than on the northern side of the map. So the Monkey King is pressuring the wave, but there is a wave still left for the Radiant to take this tower.
And we'll be at dead tier 2 top. We're going to deal with these off-lane towers. For Radiant being alive, but the ones for Dire, they're once again dead. Tier 2 is dead bottom, so... 5 dudes once again are at that tower advantage.
Oh,
CB
no.
is charged. Oh, Redondo is so dead.
He force-staffed himself on top of the cliff to find the ward.
Goodbye, Redondo. Meanwhile, they're looking for the Underlord as well. Tiny combo is their Underlord, not dead just yet, but it's really an inevitable one right there. So that's 2 kills for the Radiants. That's a sad tale for our man Redondo, but...
Yeah, this could be mid-tower or Roche. Dire need to be very careful how they play. Letting the Radiant get pickoffs like this is definitely not how you can come back into the game. They can punish you severely, especially when the waves aren't shoved out.
I'm not sure what either CB or Jork are doing with their brawling top lane. Neither have a chance of dying.
Well, Jork's definitely trying to get this wave shoved out, and I think CB's trying to also get the wave shoved out. Whoever has wave control in this game is who's going to be allowed to dictate the fights.
Alright, there's a buyback from Underlord. Just tiny toss onto the Ember, but Ember has the BKB. He will escape. Well, actually, Remnant, he cannot Remnant away. He's leashed currently. And Jinx is rolling around, but they have found absolutely nobody with that. So, looks like Radiant will simply walk away. So, you know what? That's Remnant's down, that's BKB's down, that's Underlord buyback down. We're just going to walk this, try camp, farm some creatures. She's a blink from PMA looking for Underlord. If they kill him, it's a huge dieback. In comes Blue Command. They're trying to keep Underlord alive. They'll force him away, so he is fine. And PMA will not die at all. He'll be completely fine as well. So that's once again, they're forcing out more abilities from the Dire. As Wukong's command on cooldown as well. So Radiants are now in the position where if they want to fight, it's like, hey, all the stuff's on cooldown. We can maybe get this Roshan, possibly.
Yeah, back to Roche. The Underlord is still up. The Pango roll is going to be off cooldown soon. They don't have Wukongs, but they still have like Sleight of Fist. The high ground's very difficult, especially when your BKB's down on your Tiny, because he is your main building damager.
Alright, Roshan is dying.
Smoke is coming out though.
Dire, they are smoked as 5, but they appear to not be able to get there in time. Aegis will probably go to PMA. Actually, he'll end up putting his BKB in backpack for now, so that is an Aegis for him. Dire, yeah, they appear to say, you know what, we don't want to fight anymore. We're good. PMA was in the area of Jork, did blink, could not get the pounce though, but there's a charge from CB, it's on Jork, he still has BKB, Underlord is there, but Tiny's on Underlord, Underlord's still alive because he's a very tanky hero. Ember trying to fight too, Ember, can he Remnant away? The answer is yes, but he's still very low, has 3 more Remnants, should be able to escape, and yeah, he's going to escape, that's for damn sure. Radiant really dived into one of that one, but there's just too many.
Very valiant attempt and a very good bash from Spirit Breaker, almost got him killed.
Jork came close to death on that one, but alas. Ember, very maneuverable. Not an easy kill. We don't say, you know what, we don't care. We don't need the kill anyways. We might just high ground. Tower, already quite low, actually. only 442 HP, so under a fifth HP already. We have the Aegis, we have the BKBs. Underlord's trying to defend his high ground, and Tiny has double damage. Looked for something, but got absolutely nothing. And even his BKB is not purged thanks to that. His DD is not purged thanks to the BKB, and he will use the DD simply to get that tower damage. He put some damage on the melee racks as well, but racks are still alive. PMA is hitting. Dire are going to try to defend here. They will swashbuckle PMA. They ink him as well, so everything's being thrown on PMA basically from both teams, but PMA not dead, but Rex still alive, down to 300 HP though. So that's PMA is back, already blinked back in there, looking for the Rex. We'll get the melee Rex. Jinx will roll. Rex are still alive, but not for too long. The roll is doing something, and actually will pop the Aegis of PMA, but he still does have that BKB. Wukong's command is there. They need to kill PMA. They root him. They're trying to finish him, but they actually finish him using the BKB off. So PMA is dead. That's a huge kill there. In Dire, they want more. They dust up Void Spirit. They're looking for the chains there on Artorius as well. Artorius will 100% go down, but can they have Void Spirit? Boundless Strike is there. He dissimulates to the right, goes up with the Astral Step. Can he stay alive, though? He tries to TP. Is there a cancel? The answer is no! He actually escapes!
Oh. The Basher did not go off from Pangolier.
Overall, though, both teams kind of got what they wanted. Radiant obviously got the racks, but Dire do get a Constellation, Aegis, and kill on Slark, so they do get something out of that, but
I don't think the Slark's BKB was back in his inventory quick enough in order to use it.
Oh no, Jinx is probably dead again. Jinx. Okay, Jinx is surprisingly tanky. He's got 1800 HP apparently. Did not know that. Will survive the Tiny combo. Actually, does roll. Is now looking for
does
Tiny.
Have a Minotaur horn though.
Polo is there. CB's there as well. Tiny combo is there on the Polo. Nair Strike though will finally find Jinx.
Oh.
Can Polo get a counter kill is the question. Can he be a counter death is the question. They actually break the tree as his BKB ends.
Card.
Polo, very low, trying to escape. Already used Boundless Strike. Is there going to be a bash? There is going to be a false promise, so Polo still alive. Tiny and the Spirit Breaker trying to fight. In comes Void Spirit. In comes Underlord. Void Spirit doing a lot of damage to Oracle. Oracle ain't going to the drop, but in comes Doric. Chains on both. BKB. Oh, the Monkey King still died still as well. Absolute disaster for the Dire. Doric trying to fight and Remnants away. It's... The false promise wasn't enough. Absolute disaster.
Void Spirit managed to jump the Oracle, and he didn't manage to get any heals off on his Monkey King.
And in comes Tiny. He's going to Underlord. He will toss him into the Void Spirit of all people. And now Underlord, completely isolated, has the Greaves, has the Pipe, but does not have much life. And now the lone... Okay, yeah, in comes Void Spirit with the Astral Step. We'll finally find the kill. And the lone defender is Jork. He's alone for 15 full seconds. And he has BKB on cooldown as well. In comes Tiny. In comes PMA. They actually do not find the Ember, though, so Jorik's still alive. Good escaping there. But the buildings cannot escape the Flame Remnants. Down goes the tower. Melee racks, they're dead. Range racks, they're also dead. And that's two sets of racks once they pick up these range racks as well, middle lane. So, for Marty Chang Slayers, this defense, it's simply so difficult. They still have two heroes dead. Neither a buyback. Jorik BKBs to escape, and now his BKB's still on cooldown. Jinx, he's rolling, but to little effect for now. Nair Strike is there, will stun up Jinx. Jorik doing some damage, but they're now on top of the Void Spirit. Void Spirit will go in. In comes Tiny. They find Jinx. They're looking for Jorik now. He's been taunted, but he's been false promised. Look for Redondo as well. Redondo goes down. In comes Wukong's command. His Boundless Strike on 2. Tiny dropping low. He BKBs. Runs away. Jorik trying to do something. Jorik barely survives the false promise, but now he's abyssal. He goes down to Slark. He has buyback. He'll buy back. But Marty Chang Slayer.
Oh, he came back out from the toss.
He came back! And now he's dead again!
He bought back mid-toss?
What a disaster! Mid-toss! No! Yeah, the GG's calling him for 5 dudes, they did what they had to. They did the best thing they could for their own game. They got the 2-0. And now, it's gonna be Funny Zone versus Marty Chang Slayers. For Marty Chang Slayers, must win. For Funny Zone, also must win, I think.
Yeah, both are must wins now, I believe.
We've entered the must win zone. I think Fiber Jews mathematically secured their berth in playoffs though, right? Is that correct?
I think it could come down to a 3-way tie, but there's no way they are out now. Yeah.
Because I think no matter what, because they got a 2-0 here, and they had a 1-2 loss, so they have 3 game wins. I can't think of why they're out of it at this point.
So Funny Zone need to win 1 game in order to move on, and Marty Chang Slayers need to 2-0. They can't 2-1. If they 2-1, they'll be out.
All right, we found their
because
answer.
Both 5 Average Dudes and 5 Average Dudes have 3 wins. Funny Zone have 2, and Marty Chang have 0 right now.
Which means Marty Chang will really need the 2-0. So that's I believe tomorrow, correct? Is it tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow at 9:30.
Yeah, that'll be casted by the most dangerous man alive, Xeriscape, at 9:30. If you want to catch that one, so that'll be a certainly a match to keep your eyes on. Speaking of match to keep your eyes on, tomorrow I believe at 9 p.m. will be the Ladmans versus MD2L Admins show match with yours truly and Math Magician, as well as Artorius in the game. We'll have to see if hopefully your offlane is as good as your 4 and your 5 supports. Haven't seen too much of it, but you never know.
Hopefully it's better, because my supporting sucks.
Mr. Self-Deprecation, you're funny. Either way, though, do you have any more analysis before I go into my usual sort of, you know the drill?
I think this game, 5 Average Dudes cleaned up their team fighting a little bit more. They weren't trying to rush into anything. They had a little bit stronger of an early game, and they definitely used that to their advantage. Then they secured map control. The Marty Chang Slayers had good deep vision, but their BKBs weren't up yet, so they weren't actually able to take a fight and use that vision. The one fight they did try and take looked like a little bit of miscommunication. Their Oracle got gone on, and their Ember Spirit got isolated, and they were forced to retreat. So I think it was just a little bit cleaner play from 5 Average Dudes got them that win.
All right. It's good to see for them. And at this point, for Marty Chang Slayers, what adjustments can you make in one day to make sure you have the best chance at that 2-0 tomorrow?
I think they had the right idea. I think 5 Average Dudes read their typical drafts, which was they want this melee pause 4, like the Tusk or like the Spirit Breaker. And game 1, while they had Spirit Breaker, it definitely showed why it was good. But they just weren't able to get and maintain map control. So 5 Average Dudes were able to make a comeback, and then game 2, they banned Tusk and they picked Spirit Breaker, and Marty Chang Slayers didn't have that aspect to their game. They were a little bit lacking on lockdown. 5 Average Dudes just picked Slark, so I think they either need to address their map control or address a little bit of what they're picking lockdown-wise, to make sure that at the end of the draft they aren't trying to pick something as a be-all, end-all to these fast mobility heroes.
Either way, though, thanks for the analysis, of course. Honestly, thanks for joining me for another good old best of 3. Do you have any final words, shout-outs, call-outs to say to the people of League of Lads and, of course, twitch.tv/BadgerPablo?
Fuck MXWire.
Thank you. I think we're all on the same page there. Either way, though, thanks as always for tuning in for this 2-0 victory for the 5 Average Dudes over the Marty Chang Slayers. I have been Badger. If you want to catch me on your games, catch me on your tournaments, feel free to contact me on Discord at Badger number 5713. And as always, have a great night.